It's Chen's hairdryer. Hang on, I will go and tell her to stop.
No, don't do it. Hello, everyone. Sorry, we just heard some news in the background, some noise in the background. If you're watching on YouTube, this is going to be weird. But if you listen to the pod, well, you won't hear
You
this
won't
because
even
we cut
know.
from the pod. Go on. Are you? No, you don't have to tell her. She's allowed to use her own hairdryer in her home. It will end eventually.
I mean,
won't it?
she's at the other, like she's in the other, she's like 2 rooms away, and it's quite loud. It seems.
Okay. All right. We'll just leave it. It's fine. Ready? Try and jockey your mute, then,
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
can. All right. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Hello.
Matt Murray,
Hello.
and James Farley.
Hello.
It's the crew that you all love, and I assume that's why you listen, because you love each and every one of us. Patreon producers for this month, they are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nilsson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights to Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Smooth Monkey, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Thomas, Stan, Philip with an F, Cutty, Steve Lee, Jack Oven, Grey Dragon Claw, Colin the Carwanker Smith, Lee Keybottom, My Dog Skip, Dean, and Steve the Nuke Littler. They're the Full Nels crew, and we love each and every one of them. Thank you so much, genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts, for supporting the show, supporting what we do. It makes all the difference, and you too can support us by going to patreon.com/TCGS. You don't have to go Full Nels, but we'll love you more if you do. We just released our streaming video from last week that we did. We watched a episode of You Bet. I'm sure that wasn't the You Bet that I remember as a kid. Was there an earlier version? Or was Matthew Kelly the original?
So Bruce Forsyth originally hosted it.
That's the one that I remember.
I remember that, yeah. And
Wasn't
then
that
we
like-
did a Matthew Kelly one, and then Darren Day took it on later on.
Right.
Wasn't the Bruce Forsyth one in like the late 80s though? Wasn't it that? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Well, I was alive in the late
sorry, I mean, I
80s.
don't remember, obviously, because I was so young. So bloody young. I just...
Yeah, no, I think that's the one I remember. But it was a bit of an eye opener about what counted as entertainment back then, though, wasn't it? There was a few of them where I was kind of like, this bit isn't even very good.
It was the challenges, but it was also the fact that there was like, this celebrity panel. And they just didn't really get anything from him. It's like, right, what do you think? Oh, yeah, I think he'll do it. Right, okay, well, what about you?
There wasn't even any particularly good like banter or anything like that going on. They just were like, yeah, I think he can do it.
Yeah.
But I think we want to watch old British television shows for our Patreons.
We're going to start phasing out the video game stuff. It's done.
Yeah, I mean,
Played
yeah,
out.
it starts with the Patreon stuff and ends up on the main show. So that's patreon.com/TCGS if you want to see that or listen to our bonus podcast. And we really do appreciate the support. Let's get to a few things that we've got lined up for you in the coming week. Switch 2 launch unboxing stream featuring Matt and Sean. That will be going live from 12:45. So is that the best way of saying it? At night. 1:45 in the morning on Thursday morning.
I mean, when we first said we were going to do this is when we thought we were going to go to Smith's at like 9 a.m., get a nice breakfast, come home, and then they went and announced they were doing midnight launches. So, assuming all goes well, we might not fucking get one. I don't know. I've not had any correspondence from them whatsoever. I assume everything's fine. But yeah, the plan is we're both going to bomb it.
Wait, hold on. You've had no You've had no emails or anything.
I mean, I got my initial pre-order confirmation email, and if
Right.
I go on my account, I can see it's like,
You're all right then.
Yeah, same with me.
fine.
Nothing to
It's
say
people
yours is
who-
in stock.
Like
Because we're
people
just collecting.
who ordered it for delivery, they're like, "Oh, I've got an email saying, oh, this is when the payment's going to come out," and blah blah blah. I'm just like, yeah, anything. I'm a bit worried.
I got an email today from Argos that said I was definitely getting it on Thursday, but it also put the 2 right next to the Switch, like in the text. It was all like really badly written. So I don't know if it's someone on the wind up yet. I guess we'll find out on Thursday. What is your situation, James? Have you had a message from, what is it, Game Market or whatever it's called?
Media
The game market, yeah.
Media Mart.
Had a call from the game market? Oh.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, right? We had this whole conversation about this last week, and I had a chat with Asher about it, and he's gone off today. He's gone off on his school trip, and
Right.
the upshot is that I will be opening it on Friday when he gets home from the school trip.
Well,
That's
that's a
great
good parent.
parenting.
That is good
It's a
parenting.
good parent.
He will remember that for a
Yeah.
long time. I know you'll hate Thursday, obviously, but
I mean, he'll remember that forever, and then it'll be kind of tainted when he sees the clip from last week's show. It's like, oh, the only reason I've got that memory is
shamed
because
into it.
because
Because
his
of the
three
guilt.
mates bullied my dad into doing it. He didn't want to do it in the first. Oh, what?
But yeah, he's
Sean, are
really
you-
looking forward to it. But
Are you you waiting for Isaac to get home from school to open yours, or?
no.
You know what,
but
Sean?
no,
Good
no,
on
but
you.
see, but I get the excuse
that's
of,
just great parenting. Good
I'm
on you.
still doing a fun thing for Isaac because he doesn't know I'm getting it at midnight. So he thinks I'm
Oh,
getting
does
it
he
during
not?
the day on Thursday. So he's
So he
going to
wake
come
up in the morning?
downstairs Thursday morning and it's just going to be there.
Oh, but then he is going to have to go to school. That's
He
gonna
is,
be
but then he's up
impossible.
at 5:30, so he'll still get 3 fucking hours on the thing. Before
Oh
he
right,
has to
yeah,
leave,
good
so-
shout, good shout, yeah. Okay, so that's the stream at 1:45 in the morning, and we also have a bunch of other streams planned this week. Matt, do you want to go through it because you're going to be the one holding this all together because none of us can really be fucked other than you.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
other than Twitch too, it's also Summer Game Fest, which is arguably the bigger event this week. No, okay.
It
fine.
does feel
really
like
not.
it.
No, it's kind of weird. Last week we're like, when is that on again? Anyway, it starts this Friday, so yeah, we're going to be doing a bunch of streams, talks overs. The plan is I'll just be there, and anyone these 3 other boys can jump in as and when. But you know, I like this stuff, so I'll be watching that anyway. So it starts off at 10 to 10 on Friday night. I won't go through all this now, but it's like that on Friday night. Day of the Devs and Devolver are straight after. Sunday, around 10 to 6, we'll be covering Xbox, and depending on how much energy I've got, we're doing the PC gaming show straight after that. But yeah, it's basically Friday night and then Sunday evening, where are the main ones we're covering. And yeah, they'll all be on twitch.tv/TCGesco. Well, I'll put up some socials on Blue Sky in the week. So go to tcgs.co to see what we're doing. But yeah, basically Friday night, Sunday evening, we'll be there for Summer Game Fest.
Cool. And let's get to the feedback. What did the listeners think of last week's show?
So one kind of major point of feedback last week was that someone called David a prick, and here is the feedback to that feedback. Grim Gnarly has messaged, "I'm truly sorry for upsetting David with my last feedback. For context, the David is a prick statement was in reference to the week before when I messaged with another feedback, starting with, I don't usually agree with David, but David responded that he always fears someone saying he's a prick. To book in the back and forth, I thought my last correspondence, David is a prick, would be met with hilarious banter. I was mistaken. As a long-time listener, I can only blame myself for David not connecting the two, as he has mentioned multiple times that his memory is like a sieve. He might not remember this because of the aforementioned memory issues. Please be gentle to him, guys, if he doesn't. As a therapist who works daily with patients with cognitive issues, mostly forms of dementia, I hope his feedback is taken as written and does not cause David any further emotional distress. Thanks go to Sean and a bit to Matt for trying to bring up the history of the feedback. Even more thanks go to James for obvious reasons." And that's from Grim Gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, I totally didn't connect the dots there. I didn't get the reference as well. But there was we had one bit of feedback that said, yeah, he was called a prick because he asked people to message in to call him a prick, and I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't do that. But I was like, fuck it. Oh yeah, I'll admit, I read it. And I was like, "Fuck's sake! You know why am I being called a prick again? Like, I mean, I should be used to it, but what's happening here? Didn't connect the dots. Sorry, Grim Gnarly, if that upset you last week, but I was a bit confused by it all, to be honest with you. But there you go. That's straightened
it's such a
out.
shame, isn't it? Because you want the listeners to feel like they can do stuff like this and have a bit of a laugh, a bit of back and forth. And then when they try it and we just forget and don't get it.
Well, it's also that I mean, we talk so much shit. There are like, it's 2.5 hours a week, and we've been going for 9 years. we must have said some wild stuff in the past. Although I did.
Nope.
Do you remember? No, you all fine, are you, Matt?
Yeah, fine.
Matt
100%
stands
record.
behind everything.
100% record.
He's a being of pure logic.
I don't think anyone believes that, do they? A being of pure logic.
That's what they call me.
I mean, it hasn't happened to me for a while, but like when listeners will randomly get in touch, like someone once, they like tweeted at me. They're like, "Oh, just listening to episode 254," and then attached it was like a picture of a sheep or something. And I was just,
You're like,
I've no idea what this is
shit,
about.
the sheep bit. Not the sheep bit again.
But yeah, I did feel bad because Gnarly, you did message him with the nicest of intentions, but I completely missed that. Completely missed it.
Fortunately, David screwed it. Right, next bit of feedback is from someone called Sean is a prick. Please refer to my name. This is a joke. Sorry, Sean. See, that's the bad thing. Now they've got to like clarify it's a
shame,
joke,
isn't it? Yeah,
straight away. It's just.
But I'd
ruin
rather
the
them
fun.
clarify than us just sit here for a week thinking we're being abused in the feedback. No, surely that's okay, isn't
No, I
it?
like that.
That's true.
It's fun, isn't it?
Okay,
Exciting.
all right.
Exciting, nice.
Well, I don't know. Go on.
Man of the Nater has messaged. Guten Abend, boys. That's that. Guten
In
Abend.
fact, we've definitely been through this before because someone
Probably,
else
but-
with Guten Abend.
Guten Abend, boys.
Oh god. James
Can
is
you
now.
please, James? Can you please get Matt to come over?
Guten Abend, boys.
Guten Abend, lads.
Guten fucking Abend, am I right, boys? James is now an international man of the Nater. He alluded to this on the last pod with a vague suggestion that he was busy going out. No, not suspicious at all. How is James enjoying the German nightlife? Does he prefer the halls of Berghain, aka the Super Club of Berlin, to the corner shops of Canterbury? And what's his favourite late night drunken snack?
Good
Mitlove,
question.
man of the Nater.
I mean, literally all I did was I just went out with someone from work for a drink. That was it.
Oh, someone
yeah, no,
drink.
that's fine.
Ooh.
But
Well, married, James. Don't forget
Oh,
Where
that.
did you go?
someone
Was
for
it
a drink. Interesting, James Farley. Yeah.
Was it pub or a bar or what was
It's
it?
just a pub. It's just a pub close to where we work.
How do you
That's
find
the way
the
it
pubs over there compared to the pubs over here?
It's all right. It's not much. I wouldn't say it's not. It's not much different, really.
Is it
honestly?
cheaper?
It's like
What's the deal?
it's definitely cheaper. Definitely cheaper.
yeah.
How
Yeah,
much
I
is a
think so.
pint?
About how much did I pay? About €4, I think it is. But it's
What's that, like,
What's going on in
$3.50?
the UK? This is
Yeah.
I can't get a pint for under $7.50 these days. Around here. It's a fucking nightmare.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a little.
All
I mean, in the place where I live, there's like a little like harbour. Not giving away where I live.
Oh, I
And,
haven't had that to the James Farley map
it's a nice
geoguesser.
Nice little bar down there. I sometimes go down and have a drink. It's nice on my own because I don't know anyone in this town.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I want to make that absolutely clear. You go for a drink on his own.
On his own,
Yeah.
yeah. Not with someone from work.
That's my favourite question though. What's your favourite late night drunken snack? Like what are you getting on the way home?
I mean,
Or two things.
Abendbrot.
What are you getting on the way home if you're walking
what
past
do you
the
call me?
takeaway? and also what are you eating from from your house when you get in? What's
I'll tell you what I
We
did
know the
that
second
night
one.
because I did drink quite a lot, and then I came home on the train and everything's closed because it was like 8:30 and everything's shut. Apart from at the station, there's like a like this place like sells burgers and stuff like that, but you can't like
McDonald's.
you can
Yeah.
you can
One is,
you can order them at the window, but I didn't want to do that, and so because I was just like, okay,
The
I'm gonna order
drive-through
it
window.
on my phone, and then I'll pick it up when I get there. But because I've been drinking a bit, I misjudged what time to order it, and so I had to sit and wait at the train station for like half an hour for it to be ready, which was annoying. I ate
what kind of fucking burgers are these?
awful. It was awful. I ate
Really?
a quarter of it and then chucked the rest away and felt really sick. It wasn't good. And then I came home.
right. That's not the question though. It was what was your favourite thing to get on the way home?
Do you mean here?
Anywhere, mate.
All right,
Fucking hell.
if
This is
I'm-
like blood from a... Go on.
If I was here and I've been drinking, I'd like to pick up like a borek.
I mean, you
'cause
are
they're
there.
pretty nice. It's like a Turkish like sort of snack thing. It's a bit like imagine like a sausage roll, but like more like much thinner, like a sort of a tube, and then
Okay.
it's sort of like harder sort of pastry around it. It's pretty good. Yeah. I like getting one of those.
That
if I
does sound
can.
nice,
It was a
actually.
long time to get there, didn't it?
Yeah.
I wish I'd never focused in on the question.
I'm a
Next.
fan. Ramalaptar has messaged Matt preferring 30-minute long episodes instead of 60-minute episodes because you can watch more of them. Peak Matt logic. That is true, though. You can watch more. You can watch more. You can watch twice as much in an hour.
Okay.
But
Alright.
I don't think. Did I say I preferred? I mean, I don't mind an hour-long show.
I think you said you
frankly.
understood why that
You
was
understood.
Yeah, you understood. Yeah,
You understood.
But-
because
I'm still. But I still prefer a long show than a half an hour one.
he did another. He did it. What did you do? What was the phrase that you come out with when we were playing a football game last night, Matt?
That's just
It
when I
was-
said I'm in the goal.
Oh, can I play the clip? Right. So
I guess so.
Matt
Well, I
got
can't stop you.
excited. Okay. Matt got excited last night when we were playing a football game, and what he was trying to say is, "I'm in the box," but in the end, he shouted out, "I'm in the goal. I'm in the goal." And this is John's reaction. John Denson's.
No.
reaction.
I think that clip it does have me saying it at the last second, doesn't it?
Yeah. Ready?
I'm in the goal. Oh, fab. Sorry. I'll put my up tonight. But I also didn't know that I'm in the goal meant to be in the middle.
I'm in the goal.
Sound like a-
I wasn't panicked. I don't know what I was doing.
It reminded me of the time that when we were playing Battlefield, and you know when you're in, you sometimes you respawn, you're in that airship, and you're shooting like down from this like big airship. Matt respawned and got overexcited and didn't know what to say, and he went, "Okay, I'm in the airship. Where do I put the mans?"
Yeah, I was in that dropship.
The sad thing was, I only recorded my
Yeah.
reaction to it. It didn't record your mic, so you just
Yeah.
hear me gasping for breath.
That's so annoying. Yeah. We'll always have that. Okay.
Yep.
Christopher Crockpot, long-time listener, occasional writer. Please tell me James is playing to a T on Game Pass, the game about being stuck in a T pose. Finally a game he'll find scary.
Yeah, I mean, I have played it. We're going to talk about it, aren't we, later? Because I think I played it. And David, you played it as well, yeah?
I played it, but yeah, not too much. But most of the kids have been playing it, and I played a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt's played it as
Matt,
well. So
you playing it?
Yeah, I played it, yeah.
Okay.
we're looking forward to talking about it. It's, yeah.
All right.
Theo has messaged, Dear TCGS gang, during a recent discussion about the eye-wateringly high $80 launch price of Borderlands 4, the team were rightly scathing in their response to the arrogance of Randy Pitchford, who claimed that true fans would find a way to make it happen. That being said, I thought it was a little harsh of David to say that James had no right to comment just because he had pre-ordered a £50 Switch 2 camera accessory. That wasn't fair. The real reason James has no right to comment is that he clearly believes true fans of modern Chinese propaganda will find a way to make a £133.38 hardback about the subject happen. In unity and uncritical admiration, the Commissar of Cultural Assets.
Look, just buy the paperback, right? It's much cheaper.
Yeah, but still
yeah.
way more expensive than your average paperback book, James.
It's like 30
Yeah.
quid. That's like...
Which
Yeah,
is
but you
a
get
lot
Dan
for-
Brown for a $5.
Yeah, find a better book than that. You.
I mean,
Yeah,
look,
you can't.
I'm with...
all right, no need to call it that.
you,
I'm with Randy on this. Like, you know, the publisher sets
Oh,
the
wow,
prices.
okay.
It's
Episode
nothing,
title.
it's nothing to do with me. You know, the publisher
Just
sets the
charge it
price.
to your research department like everyone else.
I started off listening to that message from Theo and just think, right, okay, I'm going to completely agree with you and explain that I was just winding James up. Like, that's all I was doing. And then I could also see Theo winding James up, and I was like, good, well done. You've the correct assignment there, Theo. Well done. Okay, let's move on.
Jimbo has messaged, how could you all forget about the most important real-life sound ruled by video games, the forklift horn? Because of David's playthrough of the game, of Shenmue, whenever I hear a forklift horn in real life or on television or a movie or anywhere really, which for some reason is more often than one would expect, I'm taken right back to watching those forklift races over and over and over and over. Thanks for giving me a core memory sound association I doubt I'll ever forget.
I don't remember that. I remember
gonna say,
struggling
yeah.
with one of
Yeah,
those.
I remember you going crazy over those forklift races because they're very, very unforgiving, like with the
Oh
handling
no,
and
no!
everything.
Didn't I hit a glitch? Didn't I? Oh, mine glitched, didn't it? That's
It was
right.
something like that, or you kept
Yeah,
like
it kept
bumping into
every
stuff.
every day. Yeah, it kept making
Yeah.
me do the race again, even though I'd completed it. And it wasn't until I think I'll have to watch it back again. But I think it kept making me do the race, even though I'd done it. And I just thought, oh, I have to keep doing it until the game thinks I'm ready to move on or whatever. And then I looked it up, and it was like there is a very rare glitch in Shenmue where you keep doing the race over and over. I was like, what? I think that was it. I'll have to go back and look at it because that, yeah, those, there are certain things you think about during lockdown. I think I started them in lockdown, didn't I? The Shenmue streams. And
Yeah, you'd lost your mind, clearly.
yeah, I mean that sort of stuff you really associate with lockdown. It's horrible, crazy.
I prefer the ones you did on was it Shenmue 2 where you had was it like pachinko machines?
No,
that
it's
me?
the Lucky Strike.
They were great. You could have
I
hours
got
of that.
obsessed with Lucky Strike because I pretty
Lucky
much
Hit.
gamed the system. Lucky Hit, that's it. What's Lucky Strike?
Cigarettes.
That's a beer,
Cigarettes.
isn't it? Oh, it's the cigarettes.
Oh, caught you. Well,
Oh, damn. Okay.
No.
I've never heard of him. What are you talking about?
my dog Skip. Listening to the show this morning, at around 90 minutes in, David called James Babe. A rare glimpse behind the curtain of David's true feelings towards his co-host? ?
I listened back to that, and I say mate, but it really, really, really does sound like I'm saying babe. I go, listen, mate. Like I was like
Listen,
something like that.
babe.
And it just sounded like babe.
I thought you were saying that.
No, I wasn't saying
Oh,
babe.
James has been smiling all week because of that.
Yeah.
Clicking his
No,
heels.
you've really,
Big old grin on
you've really
his face.
yucked his yum, David, haven't you? There?
beg
Met up
pardon?
with this supposed
You had.
colleague from work and was like, "Can you wear this mask?"
And call me Babe.
Dave's face.
Okay.
All right.
Capone Adam Kitchen has messaged. We're going to end the feedback on this. Feedback. Last week, when discussing Split Fiction, David accused me of not knowing what I'm talking about. When in Matt and
Yeah.
James's stream, I suggested that the game was 90 minutes away from the end. I have a question for either Matt or James. Simply answer yes or no. James, you can answer this. In the final Split Fiction stream, did Capone Adam, referring to himself in third person, suggest that the end was 90 minutes away, followed by James asking Siri to create a 90-minute alarm, only for the alarm to start ringing as the credits rolled? Yes or no? Thank you.
I mean, that is a yes. That is what happens.
The thing that I remember is you turning around saying, "Oh, apparently we've only got 1 or 2 streams left," and I was like, "I don't think you have." Oh yeah, no, Capone Adam was saying it, and I went, "Boys, no, I really don't think you've got one. You're not going to get this done in 1 or 2 streams. I'd say 3 or 4." No. Capone said no, it's fine, and I was like, "Really? Okay." It got to the second one where you were going, "We're going to finish it tonight," and then I was like, "You are way off here. You boys are way off." That's where that discussion came from, Capone. Yeah.
Thanks for the feedback, Capone. I always believed in you. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS, leave your feedback.
Okay, right. There's lots to talk about this week. But first, let's get to the news. The news.
The news. Yeah. So this week, so EA have cancelled Black Panther, and they've also shut down Cliffhanger Games. So they began in 2023, and Black Panther was going to be their first game. But then EA Entertainment President Laura Miele wrote to the staff and said that the closure was coming because the EA were trying to sharpen their focus and put creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. And then you got like the whole quote, which says, "These decisions are hard. They affect people we've worked with, learned from, and shared real moments with. We're doing everything we can to support them, including finding opportunities within EA where we've had success helping people land in new roles." But apparently, according to IGN, like the correspondence kind of indicates that EA now want to focus on like its own IP, like specifically Apex Legends, Battlefield, Skate, and The Sims. But they're still committed to the Mass Effect game and Motive's Iron Man game, and also another Star Wars Jedi project, which is presumably the next one in the Jedi trilogy or whatever it's going to be. And so that's a shame, because this the Black Panther game sounded quite interesting, and that's been shut
Did we
down.
have we seen much of it?
Only like
Maybe a CG teaser
Yeah,
when it
there's like
first got
CG
announced.
Teaser trailer, yeah. Like part of me thinks, is Marvel like really sort of like winding down now? But at the same time, there are still a load of Marvel games in development at the moment, aren't there? So it's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
I guess
like,
because they were signed years ago when we're in height of Endgame, etc., etc. But this latest phase has not been too good or popular, seemingly. But
have you watched any of the recent ones?
no, I would like to. You've seen Thunderbolts, haven't you, James?
I saw Thunderbolts. Thought it was good. I enjoyed Thunderbolts. It was.
Did you watch Brave New World?
No, I haven't actually. It's just come on Disney Plus though.
Yeah, I saw that.
so-
Yeah,
we
already,
watched
which
it
says a
this
lot.
weekend. I think it was not very good.
Oh, okay. It's a shame. Didn't know that.
It was, in my opinion, it was not very good. I don't know. I'm. Look, it's shit that EA are closing down studios. I think that's worse than losing a Black Panther game, to be honest.
Oh,
with you,
definitely.
'cause I
And
thought-
they were,
It's the bigger problem.
the fact they were announced like just under 2 years ago, weren't able to
Yeah.
ship, and they must thought, okay, we're so safe. We're working on a Marvel game, a Black Panther game, which is I'm sure Black Panther films are like some of the highest grossing films of that phase or two of Marvel films. Like it's EA, it's a slam dunk. We're not gonna even this that they clearly thought this is not a guaranteed smash in the way they need. Because I know like EAFC didn't do quite the numbers it needed to last year, and
It is weird
cancellation
how
of projects
EA,
left, right, and centre.
EA always seem to sort of oscillate between this kind of like we're going to do loads of licensed games to we're going to do original games, and then it's like and then they go back to the licensed games again. It's very odd how this is go between
I
those
think it
two.
was Jason Schreier did a bunch of posts about this. So he's basically saying that. So the game was only just coming out of pre-production, which 2
right.
years in pre-production is not great. But yeah, apparently the team had just had difficulties really sort of focusing in on what this was going to be and what was going to make it good. What I found really strange was I saw a lot of very uncharitable posts from people being like, "Oh, 2 years and they couldn't figure out what to do with the superhero game." And it's like, yeah, because if they'd just done third-person action adventure or whatever, everyone would have had a go at them for being really uninspired. Like, of course, you're going to take your time and really come up with something fucking special. So, yeah, I don't really agree with like having a pop at them for that. But yeah,
well,
it's
especially when
shame.
you don't know what the fucking development process has been
Exactly.
like in the slightest. It's a ridiculous
like
thing.
anyone
to say, really,
who's
isn't
been
it?
anywhere near game development knows it's terrifying how like iterative it is and how many things you try that don't work and you have to just cut them. Like it's insane. So yeah, it's a shame we'll never see what this was going to be because who knows, it could have ended up being something really special, but EA decided otherwise.
Yeah, and I think I heard the other day that they were teasing like a new Sims or something. Well, obviously, we've had teasers of that. We know Skate's coming. We know a Battlefield's being worked on. Apex, I'm not really in that scene, so I wouldn't know. But every time there's like another Mass Effect day, what they're called, N7 days or whatever, and like we still haven't seen another trailer or more information. We're like, is this game going to come out?
Like,
Especially after the
Can I just say before you speak, don't just give a flippant. Hey, well, what is Mass Effect 8 N7? Don't be flippant about it, Matt. Some of us lived that war, right? And just because
wasn't sure
you didn't have
isn't.
the staying power for it, yeah. Some of us remember the Reapers and what they put us through. So
Right.
don't
Didn't
just
realise it
throw
was in your
that away.
calendar.
fuzzy on the details at the time. But yeah, like, playing Dragon Age Valguard last year, and like, yeah, it wasn't amazing, but like I said at the time, like I'm so excited to see what this team now go on to do with Mass Effect, and then they fucking got rid of half of them as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've just realised N7 Day is on David and James's birthday as well. So that's,
oh well, that makes sense.
of course.
Okay, next story is that Microsoft have apparently sidelined their handheld that they were working on. This is according to Windows Central, who are saying that they've internally announced at Microsoft that they're going to prioritize improving Windows 11 gaming performance instead, specifically for like partner devices like the Asus one, which was Project Kenan or Kenan or whatever.
That's one that you spoke about last week or the week before, so that's still happening. It's just
Yes, that's still happening, but it seems that their own hardware they're not going to do yet. And a lot of people are speculating this is because Valve announced that they're going to bring like SteamOS, to other third-party handheld devices as well. So there's now a bit of a race going on between like Microsoft and Valve as to who can get like the better operating system, I guess, for gaming onto handhelds.
It's been
And
interesting,
so
yeah, because I've seen. I haven't watched them, but yeah, I've seen like videos popping up on YouTube with thumbnails being like, "Yep, never going back to Windows."
Yeah, I've watched them, and like I don't know, I don't know who the YouTuber was that I watched, but they did that, and like the performance, I think they had is an Asus ROG Ally, and then I think there's like a more recent one, and basically they so same specs, but they put like SteamOS on one, Windows on another one, and the SteamOS one's getting like more frames, better performance. Well, I guess because it's much more lightweight OS compared to Windows with all its bloat. And we've known that Windows has been an issue handheld wise for a long time. You hear they're constantly trying to make improvements, but I mean,
I do wonder, like, how old does my PC have to get before I'm like, maybe I'll just put Linux on it. But I know it's going to be a pain in the ass. And there'll be people listening going, no, just switch to Linux. It's fine now. No, it isn't. Come on.
You could podcast from SteamOS.
I could do. Yeah, theoretically.
This is like when people say to me, no, gaming on PC is totally different now. And then I go in a PC gaming forum. And I'm like, it's still not there for me, thank you.
Yeah.
It's still not. Have you tried this driver? I'm out. I'm fucking out.
But yeah, I don't know. I still think this is a bit of a shame because I'd like it if they did their own
Definitely
device.
I didn't think they were doing their own device, so this is not really news to me. Like,
no, they were. The whole point that as we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, they're originally going to do like partner devices was the idea, and
yes.
And that this was was going to be one of them with Asus.
And this seems to suggest they're still going to do that, right?
They're still going to do that, but then also they have said that they're working on their own handheld as well, like an Xbox handheld. But then now it seems that that's not going to happen anytime soon.
It just doesn't seem really in keeping with what they're doing at the moment. Like,
no, it doesn't.
It seems like they're completely moving away from hardware and focusing on the publishing and software when it comes to gaming.
Yeah.
And licensing out to third parties to create a portable Xbox makes way more sense.
Exactly, because they're
going
to
want making their own.
They're going to want to sell like licenses for Windows, like for on gaming devices. That's what I'm sure they want to do because that's where they can make a lot of more money than they can if they were having
a lot of more money.
Yeah, than if they were going to ship hardware as well.
We all want to make a lot of more money.
As soon as that came out, I was like, my tongue slipped there. That was bad. And, but then also, Windows Central have said that there are apparently 3 prototype devices in development for Microsoft's Gen 10 effort. Like for the next for the next generation. They're apparently prototyping
of console.
Yeah, of console. Yeah. Which you'd expect.
I was having an argument with my friends this week about the next gen. For starters, when they went, well, when's this likely to be? And I went, well, if it goes by the usual 7 years, then in 2 years' time. Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? But also, I was like the problem is, a couple of my friends are really stubborn and they will only buy the Xbox. They won't buy the PlayStation. A few of our friends still haven't bought a PlayStation, and they've just got their Xbox, and they're idiots.
Like
if you're in that situation, you should not be on a podcast, in my opinion, talking about video games. But no, I'm joking. But they're really stubborn with that. And I said to them, like, we were playing the other night, and I went, we can't be getting the Xbox next, surely. Like, for the next gen thing, we cannot be because this next Sony console will have all of the Xbox games on it. Like, there's literally no need anymore. There's no need anymore because I can't see myself buying both consoles next gen. Oh, fucking will, won't I? I'll end up buying both consoles, won't I?
Yes.
But yeah,
stuck having to do this forever.
Yeah, you're never leaving. I mean, we covered this, but yeah, I think it's sad. And even though it'll probably essentially be the same thing, I just feel a lot more excited if it's like a Microsoft developed and released hardware than just a third party one. Although like the whole them licensing, yes, or I guess they'll get money from the Windows license, but for the end user, it's like they get the official Xbox button. I guess it's still basically Windows hardware. So what are we really getting? But anyway, I'll be more excited that way.
Okay. Next story is that Game have been forced to cancel some Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders And so
Some.
yeah,
Forced?
they made a statement. They said here
UK. Sure.
they made a statement where they said, "We sincerely apologise for the recent cancellation of some Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders. We understand how disappointing this is, especially for those who have been eagerly awaiting their order. We're currently working hard to reinstate as many affected pre-orders as possible. If your order was impacted, please know that we're doing everything we can and we'll be in touch with further updates and next steps." And so, yeah, that's not great, I guess, for people that pre-ordered through Game.
Yeah, but do
Okay.
you know why?
Well, yeah, because there's been massive turnover at Game, in terms of they got rid of loads of people, and it's a bit of a mess.
Sure.
Well, what's that with them cancelling pre-orders, though? I mean,
Yeah.
Do you think that's Nintendo just making or changing their mind about how much stock they're getting?
yeah,
or maybe
maybe.
Game
No, I
assumed
think
they
it
were
was
getting
more
them.
likely
They
to be,
oversold
and I
them.
could be wrong. I think it was more likely to be some sort of error on Game side where they've taken more
Yeah, they've
pre-orders, like
oversold
they didn't stop the
possibly, yeah,
pre-orders or
yeah.
something. They just took as many pre-orders
Yeah.
as they could.
whereas others say we're out of stock now, don't order any more. Game like, yeah, go on, keep ordering, baby.
We'll
We're definitely
going
gonna
to
have them.
Nintendo, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll got it covered. Don't we? We will get these. I mean, this is going to sound harsh, but if you were relying on Game for anything since I don't know
Yeah.
2002, then you think you need
But
looking at personally.
probably
Like,
say that
I'm sorry,
normal
like I
people
wouldn't
do
trust
that.
Game with anything. So
I know,
That's
but
what
then
Because we're nerds, but I reckon probably normal people who still buy games on the high street would like why.
yeah,
maybe-
what the ones that have to go through Sports Direct?
Yeah,
there is that, but then there are also cases where people are pre-ordering stuff through Game because they have exclusive stuff that Game have managed to get or whatever. Like there was
Go
with
on.
Silent Hill 2 that happened. Like there was the Silent Hill 2 remake. They did this steel bookcase and stuff like that, and you could only get it through Game. And then,
Okay.
but
If
that
you're
was terrible as well.
If you're doing Silent Hill 2, then go through Game. But if you're looking to put £430 down on a console, look elsewhere. In my opinion, there is.
Anywhere else.
Direct. Yeah.
You go to their website now, though. It says Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order now on it. So
oh well.
I don't know what's going up.
What made me laugh?
Well,
was
I'll
the-
do it. They're a great company. They're really trustworthy.
The image with the statement was had the game branding, but it was all in black and white. Just as if oh, everyone's going to be really sad about this. We should reflect that by taking the colour out.
No, it is shitty. If you've relied on them for a pre-order, you can't have a go at the people for doing that. They might not know how bad Game
Well,
have been.
Matt
over the
just
past.
did.
Yeah, I
I
know.
know,
I'm
and
doubling
saying,
down.
Matt, you're out of order there.
No,
You
I
are
think if you
out
do
of
it, you're an
order,
absolute twat.
so- Okay.
All right.
Clip that.
I just think about it. You've got the money for a Switch 2. You've got your head screwed on enough there. Don't be going to Game. I'm sorry,
I suppose
Game.
you could argue that. Yeah,
Hold
anyone.
on. If you've got money for a Switch 2, that's a sign of having your head switched.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
Sorry, Matt.
sorry, that doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
I guess what I'm saying is, look, you've
If
got.
you can't afford one,
rich
you're a
enough.
fucking wanker.
Yeah, if you can't
No,
afford it, you must
no, I
be
wasn't saying
stupid.
that. I'm saying, look, you've got the money ready for a pre-order. You know what you're doing. You go to a different website.
What Matt's
Go to
saying
the
is that
website.
poor people deserve.
No, it wasn't. I didn't think of it like that. I just thought, look, you've got.
Well, yeah, I mean, it all came out.
Well, that's not
It
how I
came out
intended
that
it.
way.
I was just thinking,
Well,
don't go to
the-
Game. No, it's not about me. It's about slag off Game. Don't
Subconscious-
slag off me. Don't slag off
Okay.
me. Slag it-
You're getting a little bit of abuse in the chat here on Twitch.
Well, everyone who pre-ordered from Game, no
says
doubt.
that you're cancelled.
No, your pre-order's cancelled, mate, from Game.
Oh, look, did
Yeah.
you hear that like a little excitement in his voice then as he
I've
was
got
saying
him. I've
it?
got him.
Yeah, wankers.
Barely got the last word out. Okay, cool.
From Game.
Okay, we done.
James, you're
You're
on.
James,
on
you're
mute,
muted.
James.
Oh,
Hey,
James.
I haven't done
James
that
has
for
said so many zingers.
I haven't done that for at least 2 weeks. Yeah.
9
James?
years of podcasting and he still does it.
Oh,
and that's
yeah,
only on
okay.
this show.
Okay, we should have left him. How long could we have left him?
Yeah, oh god,
Fuck.
yeah. Next time.
Okay, next
he does
time,
it.
right?
We will
We've got to
do
agree.
like-
Face
just-
gestures like.
Yeah, we're like, oh yeah, yeah.
nodding, yeah.
The problem is though, Matt. Right, that's a funny idea, but on the podcast, that's going to be intolerable. There are podcasts that I listen to that have long gaps like that, and I'm looking down and thinking, have I paused it by accident? Is it
wrong.
buffering? What's going on?
Yeah.
So have a little think about that one before you suggest it again, Matt.
Oh,
James
do what I
Farley.
want, mate.
So Nintendo have updated their mobile app ahead of the Switch 2 launch.
Holy
Adding some,
fuck!
yeah, they've added some stuff. I mean, because they haven't added anything for years on
Another
the whole
calendar?
Thing, but, no, it's although you can now link your calendar with Nintendo Today. It's possible to do that.
wicked.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have my work meetings with like an Animal Crossing background.
Exactly, they actually show up. In,
Okay.
like, it's in
I'm in.
Nintendo Today. It's a bit weird, but yeah. So they've updated it. It's now called the Nintendo Switch app, and they've added game chat stuff to it.
Cool name.
Yeah.
Where'd they get the idea for that?
But the major feature they've added though is the album, whereby any screenshots and videos and stuff that you take on the Switch, as with Xbox and PlayStation, will appear in the app, so you don't have to do that ridiculous.
Oh, that's
like,
good.
That is
scanning
good.
QR codes and stuff.
It is
Oh,
good, but
God,
isn't it
that was
funny how
ridiculous.
with Nintendo we're like, oh, amazing. It's like, no, this has been basic functionality for
Yeah.
years on the other machines.
Yeah, but oh my god, the way they ask you to do it. So obviously, if you didn't catch that, we were talking about when you save a clip or a screenshot on your console. If you do that, and it started on Xbox. If you did it on the Xbox, it would then appear in your app like 30 seconds later or whatever, well, 2 minutes or whatever. Now Sony updated their stuff probably about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, where
It was when the
would then
PS5
send it
came
to
out,
the
I
app.
think.
Yeah,
I
that was
think
not
it
as good though, because that's only
shortly
like the
after that.
most recent 30 days, or isn't it? Like, there's a time limit to that stuff on PlayStation.
But that's fine. I mean, that is fine. I think, in fact, actually, I'd prefer that on my Xbox because it does get clogged up with all the clips you take. The only thing that really winds me up about the PlayStation one is that it automatically takes clips. You can turn it off, but
Oh, you mean for trophies and whatnot?
yeah, like when you get trophies and stuff like that. So, and the other issue I had this week was that I must have set it up for some reason, but on the PS5, when I take a video clip, it records my chat and the party chat and puts that over. So when Harry got up in the morning and I showed him a goal I scored in Rematch, the football game that we've been playing, and it's got me and John calling each other all sorts of words over the top of it, like desperately hitting cancel before, which is what people would do if I played it on the show, to be fair. I'm happy that the Switch 2 is doing it, but the way that the Switch handled it was unbelievable. It was so strange. You would, because the actual capture button was amazing, right? It was really responsive, like from day one. It worked really well. It did the whole, hold it down or tap thing, which I think was before even how it was done on the Xbox, right? So it works really, really well. But to get it onto your phone, you had to open a QR code. That would then connect your Wi-Fi of your phone to the Wi-Fi of the Switch. Is that how it works?
and then it uploaded it. Yeah.
There was 2 QR codes that you had
Yeah,
to
because the second one was to see the image. First one was to connect. The second one was to see it and download it.
It was just ridiculous.
Well, remember,
shitty
prior
processor.
to that, you either had to, you could tweet the pictures directly,
Yeah.
but then you might not
Yeah.
want to, right? You might just want to put
Yeah.
it on your phone.
Yeah,
and do something
I
else
would
with it.
tweet, save and delete.
Well, yeah, because I know some people just made a separate Twitter account just for
Well,
posting this. which
I
is
did
probably
that
the way to
with
do it.
I did it with Facebook because you could set it so that anything that you did was private, and so then you just
Right.
it just show up in your feed, but no one else sees it, and it's just but it's just a rubbish workaround, isn't it?
It
Well,
was,
the other
right.
way was to switch out the SD card, wasn't it?
Yes.
You had to take the SD card out and drag and drop, like it was like fucking 2001. It was ridiculous. But there you go.
Great console.
But then also they're going to be adding the Zelda Notes is going to come on the 5th of June. That was the other app that they're adding to it. So yeah, there you
Can't
go.
wait.
But also you'll
All
get
right.
if you get a notification from Game Chat, it will also show up in the app. So like if Matt, I'm on my camera and I want to play some Mario Kart World with you, I
Yeah.
can send you an invite and you'll get it on your phone.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So James has the camera on. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Matt, you're
go for
keeping your camera.
I haven't
keeping it.
decided yet.
it. He's keeping it.
I might know. I might know, James. I might keep it.
He's keeping it.
No, I mean, for the good of the show, I don't even want to at this point. I guess I have to now because
That's true, 'cause we're
James has
gonna
got
get
one
an honest
ordered.
review out of James.
Yeah,
James will say
like-
it's good no matter what.
Well, we have to connect together. I mean, I feel like I kind of have to go
We've
now.
got to try it.
Yeah.
It's got to be done. Anyway,
Okay.
next story. So Summer Games Fest is, as Matt said earlier, is upon us, and there's been like a whole announcement of all the partners that are involved, and you've got like 60 partners that are going to be part of it. But also this time Nintendo are back because they haven't been in the past few years. So like PlayStation are there, Xbox are there, Nintendo are there. Do you think we're going to get anything else, like in terms of like a Nintendo Direct maybe, and or like a PlayStation thing during that week? Because nothing's been announced, has it?
No, you think they would have?
There was a
announced it
rumor,
by
wasn't
now.
there?
Was there?
I think there was a rumor about another one, but I don't know. I mean, it's funny that like why wouldn't Nintendo just announce it before everyone else have announced their Summer Game Fest events? I mean, they've got a lot going on this
maybe
week.
they just don't want to be associated with Summer Game Fest, and I kind
Well,
of
they're an official partner,
respect
so
them for
they are associated with it
Oh yeah, good point.
financially, contractually.
Didn't it leak how much he was charging for?
Yes,
content
it
in
did.
it. I can't remember what that was.
Now.
I have to
Sure
look
it's
it
not
up again because it was. I mean, it was quite a lot of money. I think for
Yeah, it's like
each-
250 grand for 30 seconds, and not bad.
Wow. We'll see. I mean, unless I've just been, I'll be admittedly, because I've come off of Twitter, maybe this is why I'm missing some of the discourse around all this. But I remember in the build up to Summer Games Fest, there was lots of tweets from Jeff Keighley. There's lots of, hey, don't get hyped up too much and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then also dropping, we've got an amazing, game that we're exclusively announcing. There was all that shit leading up to it. But is this because I'm not on social media as much as I used to be, or has it just genuinely been quieter this year?
It's
I
the
think-
whole schism from people leaving Twitter and stuff, isn't it? I think it certainly doesn't help. I don't know if Jeff's on Blue Sky. I've no idea.
I think he is, but I don't think he's prolific on there.
Right. So
Prolific.
I've not heard anything from him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everything is spread around. That's definitely affecting it. I think also Switch coming. It's like it just feels like a weird time because it almost doesn't feel like it's a Switch 2 launch this week, and hasn't been a lot of excitement about Summer Game Fest. Although I haven't said that. Watch the talk servers we're going to do. But yeah, I don't know what Jeff's quote was this year, but I mean, the last 2 or 3 years have been burnt quite badly with Summer Game Fest, so I'm still going with zero expectations, and if it's half good, then that's a benefit, rather than like, oh my god, are we going to see Half-Life 3 this year?
We do this every time, but my word, I miss E3. Miss
Yeah.
E3.
I found
It was
Sorry, David.
No, go on.
No, I found the prices for Summer Games Fest.
Oh, go on.
Go on, let's go through.
So $250,000 for 1 minute, and
Decent.
$550,000 for 2.5 minutes.
Blimey.
So yeah,
So
so
it's
it's
actually
half.
a saving, guys.
That is a
The more
saving
the
for
more you spend, the more you
half
save.
a million for that.
Okay.
It's it's a saving on that.
Well, like, where's that money go? I'd love to know where that money goes.
I mean,
Where's
it's-
it go?
obviously it's not
Start
going to be
production.
it won't be a cheap event to put on,
The-
but I
the-
do
yeah,
imagine
no, theatre.
a lot of it
But
goes
it's
into
4
Keely's
hours long, and
pocket.
he's spending. It's 4 hours long, and he's charging $500,000 for how long?
For 2.5 minutes, so 2.5 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, why?
Because they can, because he knows people will pay it. Sadly,
But I don't know because but if you're like a platform holder, why would you even bother? Like, wouldn't you just be like, I'll just put out my own direct or whatever? It's cost me nothing, to like do that. Why would I want to pay Keely?
would more eyes be on this? Whether it's it's in cinemas, it's it's on other I think it's like US TV. Would that get more eyes than it just going on the Xbox YouTube channel? I mean,
I wonder. Yeah, I do.
I think it
wonder.
probably would, but not enough to maybe warrant that amount. And I don't know. I mean, I guess this
Yeah,
is
I'd
why
love to know
everyone's
the
starting their own
viewing
directs.
figures. Yeah, I'd love to know the viewing figures
Whatever year they
compared
go up,
to compared to say Nintendo Direct, or see how. Yeah, I'd love to know. I have no idea where it would land. I have no idea what the spread would be.
I think it'd be like I think this would get more kind of national coverage or international coverage, or maybe like non-gaming outlets might cover this as like the big gaming event of the summer. But I mean, we don't know whether that is actually good.
The actual Summer Game Fest show is never really that big.
No,
There's not
it's
been
not.
any insane announcements at it. It's not.
No,
been,
I mean, there was Elden Ring a few years ago, so They have had
Yeah,
their
that's fair.
moments, but
I know. Well, he usually before, like usually a couple of days before the event, he starts doing the whole temper your expectations.
down.
It's like it's not
It's
going to
not
be.
even going to be good.
Yeah,
Just leave it.
I love it when he says that, and he's also charging them £500,000
Yeah,
for
it's
two and a
really
half
good,
minutes.
well, I mean, Jeff, when he posted his infamous hype trailer that he works on, he said, "Get hyped with this trailer I edited to celebrate an incredible year of gaming and what's to come." It feels like it's a bit more buoyant this year compared to previous years, but who knows?
Yeah, like
But-
Matt was saying, like ultimately, if he is able to fill a show, then whatever he's charging, however absurd it might sound to us, clearly there's enough publishers willing to pay it. Maybe over time it will even out, and publishers will be like, "Well, no, it's not fucking worth that much, Jeff."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
one
yeah.
other benefit is like you just send the trailers to Jeff and they do all the work. Whereas
Yeah.
if you want to set up your own one, you got to say Roman, you got to build your own channels, your own reach on YouTube, etc., etc. It's like, look, it's a lot of money, but we pay it, we get the eyes on it,
Yeah.
we're part of the
Plus,
conversation. People doing talk
presumably-
servers, live reactions, etc. It's all on there, isn't it? Covered.
Yeah, and I guess like a platform holder or a publisher will be fine at reaching their own existing fans, but Summer Game Fest is going to go way broader than that. So
Yeah. Digiphoto in chat was just saying we're getting a new Death Stranding 2 trailer, but there is actually a Death Stranding 2 show, but that's at 3 in the morning. So I'm probably not going to bother doing that one myself. But I think we're going to get gameplay in that. But
out soon, isn't it? A couple of weeks.
It is out soon.
Yeah, it's out in June. I'm well psyched.
It is June.
There's too much to play. There's too much to play. I don't. Yeah, I'm not. That is not on my list. That is not on my list.
I need to play the
Is
first
that-
one, or do I?
I mean-
I'm never really clear on that.
Yeah,
It's
great.
also. See, I've just been thinking about this, and it's like it's also just feels like we're in a weird place at the moment in terms of like hype and all that kind of thing. Because you've got like Sony first party has sort of shit the bed, hasn't it? Like there's been nothing for ages. From them, and I know you've got like Ghost of Yotai coming, but apart from that, there's not really much like on the horizon. It seems. Then you've got like Xbox doing like a lot of good stuff's come out, like and everything, but no one's buying that console, and it's just also weird strategy changes and all that kind of stuff. And then you got Nintendo with the Switch 2, which should be like a massive, huge launch kind of thing, and everyone seems a bit lukewarm on it. It's just, I don't know. It just feels like we're in a bit of a weird non-hypey
The only
place
is
at the
that
moment.
we spent so long saying that Microsoft need good games and Xbox needs games or whatever, and now they're bringing out really good games and they're available on PlayStation. It's
Yeah.
a wild turn of events, but here we are.
And meanwhile, live service games are killing everything else. It's
And
it's a
themselves,
shame.
apparently.
Or they're being killed themselves, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the end of the news.
Okay, well, let's do what you've been playing. And can we start with a football game? Because not only are we starting with a football game, Sean has been playing it, which is interesting. It has been the beta of Rematch, which is a how do I describe it? The shitty shorthand way of saying it is it's Rocket League. It's Rocket League with humans.
And it's made by the people who made that. What's
Sifu.
it? Yeah, Sifu. Yeah. So
Oh, is it really?
yeah, it's made by them. Yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't.
Halibut.
So quite a departure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and also, it very much does feel like a studio's first ever game. There are, we'll go through it, but so this was in beta over the past week or so. Some friends got onto the previous beta and then on this one, and they were raving about it. How did you get a beta code, Sean? Because they're quite hard to come by.
On the Xbox, you just go on the Xbox Insiders app.
Yeah, and you can request
that's right.
it.
Yeah, Matt was saying. Yeah, but
There's limited numbers on that.
It
So
was it?
Yeah, and just out of interest, the Xbox Insider program, you need to sign up for that separately, right? That is a separate thing.
Yeah, I think I signed up for it years ago, and there's nothing to it. You just go on a thing on the website and click a button and go, yeah.
But I think I left that because I was like, I wasn't joining anything. But I still got the Insider app. But I wasn't sure if anyone could access the Insider app.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I did it ages ago because I found out that Sea of Thieves Insiders was a thing. You can play like updates that aren't in the game proper yet, and then kind of forgot about it honestly, and then found out.
I remember
I
I stopped doing it because I did it to get, like, especially when the Xbox One came out, there was loads of like features that would should have been in from day one that were on the insider thing, and they weren't coming out for months on everything else.
Right.
But then it made the console so unstable after a while. I was like, and not, that was the other thing. You would constantly get updates to it. Like it would be like every other day you get a new update, and it was like, oh, do you know what? I don't even want this anymore. I did the same thing we were on the
I know
beta
you-
stuff with Apple, right? For
I
iPhones.
stopped doing that for the same reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just such a pain in the arse. Do you remember
Well,
we used to have
when
to
like my
download
banking app's
the
broken
OS?
for a week.
Yeah.
We had to download the OS and then transfer it over by a cable just to
Yeah.
get like the new Apple iPhone features.
It was always
before everyone
tempting,
else.
but now
You
I'm
got
like,
it,
I'll
and
just
it was
wait.
like then your phone would be like running red hot as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, with
Red
no
hot,
battery,
and the battery
most of your
life would
apps
be
don't
like
work,
amazing,
and
yeah.
nothing really works. But it does look different. But now I'll just wait till a new phone comes out.
Yeah, so anyway, it was an open beta on PS5 in the end, and not on Xbox, which is funny because it's on Game Pass, right? It's coming out to on Game Pass in a month's time or whatever. I'm interested to hear your thoughts first, Sean, and then we'll go into because Matt and I played it for a couple of hours last night, I think.
Yep.
So we've got some thoughts as well. But how did you find it as someone that doesn't play football much?
I was going to say, I mean, because obviously I can't really comment on whether or not it plays a good game of football. I did really enjoy my time with it, though. I was quite pleasantly surprised. But then I've never, I played a bit of FIFA years ago, and I've never played it as like a multiplayer.
Streamed a lot of FIFA,
Yeah,
didn't you?
streamed a lot of FIFA. But yeah, never played it as a multiplayer game. Never played it with friends. So to me, this was completely novel. And obviously, it does loads of things that are, of course, nothing like actual football. Like the ball just bounces off, the boundary of the pitch and what have you, just bounces back in and stuff like that. And to
It's
me,
got
I'm
walls
like,
and stuff,
fine, whatever. But if you really like football, that presumably removes some sort of strategic elements, or that might be something that's really annoying, or strips it down maybe a bit too much in ways you might not appreciate. But then I love the fact that like anyone can be in goal. You just get in goal, and it's like, there you go. Goalie gloves, on you go. Like stuff like that, I think is really nice. And like it's not, because there have been like football games that are like, haha, I don't really know or like football. I'm going to do my own interpretation of it in a video game form, and that has, in some ways, has come off like a bit snide, a bit snarky. This doesn't feel like that. I think they probably do really like football, but they are like, well, what if we just remade football that totally knows it's a video game and that's fine, and we've got a bit of leeway in how it runs. Yeah, I've really enjoyed. I really enjoyed I only had like one evening on it with a couple of mates, and we lost every match, but still it was still really good fun. I'm a goalie. It turns out I was really good in goal. So I ended up just staying in goal most of the time. But, but yeah, I enjoyed it. But
you were really good in goal, but you lost every match. That's what that was the angle you were coming at there,
yeah,
was it?
well, it's because my friends I was playing with who weren't in goal weren't scoring any goals. I was stopping, 9 out of 10 goals that came my way.
Yeah.
But there
Every
weren't
game was
any
0-0.
going the other way. That's the
You are the Tottenham Hotspurs of the world of Rematch. Look, I'm okay. So it's a couple of really interesting observations, but to try and explain. So it's not so much with the rules. I think what's funny is that when it comes to football, as you grow up playing football, when you're into it, you play ridiculous. There are all sorts of rules. We all played games where there was one goal. That we all played games where you're like, specifically a really fun way of playing football is five-a-side, and five-a-side do have those walls there.
Yeah, I was
where
going to say,
you
it just
can
feels
bounce
very
off the walls
five-a-side,
and-
I think.
Right.
Yeah, well, this is exactly what it is. You can play a maximum of five-a-side, but in terms of like trying to recreate a feeling of football, it has nothing to do with a 11 on 11 full pitch with all the rules to a T that football is at a pro level. Like, it's not about that, and that is why me and my mates have been saying it for ages, but Danny Dyer said Danny O'Dwyer put it in one of his videos that Rocket League feels more like football than FIFA, and you know it's a bit of a stretch, that argument, because it obviously loses a hell of a lot of what football's about when you're in a car that can fly in the air. However, the feeling of football is what he's talking about, and the fact is that when you're playing football, you are not when you press A, you are not automatically passing to the closest player, which is what you do in games like FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer. You're sort of hitting it towards someone and it feels loose and anything can happen. Like you do really feel like there's physics at play when you play football, whether it's kicking a ball and making it curl or lobbing someone and having that precision to do it correctly. Like for example, if I'm playing a football game and I press a long through ball, it will go in that direction. And when it's a good through ball, you go, okay, I pressed the button and it did a good through ball. When you do a good through ball or something in Rocket League, you fucking really had to work to make that work, and the skill that you put into it has pulled off because it was perfect, right? So that was the separation. That was the argument to say that Rocket League was a better representation of what it feels like to play football than FIFA does, and I totally understand that. What Rematch is trying to do is take that feeling and put it back into a more football-like game. So you are running around, you've got that first touch control, you've got aim shooting, you've got passing and trying to trick a defender, going one way, dropping a shoulder, going the other way. It tries to do all that stuff. And what's amazing is that when you play this beta, you go, fuck, there's something here. There's something that they're getting right. And it is working to some extent. There are moments where you'll hit a volley and it will go in the top corner. And unlike FIFA, where you've pressed a button to do that, you've struggled to get into the position, you've managed to get away from your defender, you've controlled it with a bit of like clever timing and pushing the ball in the right direction, and you've nailed the aiming when you've shot. And it's like, fucking hell, like that feels amazing. What's really funny is that as someone that's played football games since he was a kid, when Matt joined last night, it was fucking hilarious, the questions that he was asking me, because I did the tutorial and I did not know what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. And my first few games, like, John was laughing because I didn't know where I was on the pitch and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was messing stuff up constantly. And Matt joined and you did the tutorials, right?
Yeah,
Matt?
I did it, but it didn't feel very nice, and it's like I hadn't actually played a training match. So I just
a lot of buttons to take in, right? If nothing else.
Yeah, and also all the wrong buttons. Like, it just felt so weird having run on L1 and shoot on R2. I was like, what the
Matt was like, it feels really weird having run on L1. Why is that? I was like, Matt, that is the least of your problems. And he went, what shoot again? Is it X or is it B or is it? I went, no, it's right trigger. And he went, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It was all of that sort of shit. And even forgetting the button presses and what they correlate to, there's concepts in it that make zero sense, like when you first start playing it. Like, for example, you have a crosshair in the middle of the screen, but that's only for shooting. So you're aiming where you're looking when you're shooting, but when you're passing, you're controlling where you're passing with the stick, with the left stick. So there are times where I'm like, right, I'm going to pass over there looking at the crosshair, because that's what you expect. But I might have been running sideways, so suddenly I'm just passing off to the right for no reason, and it's like, fuck, you've got to completely forget everything you know about playing a football game and start from scratch when you start.
But what I love
playing
about that is, like, so I don't know what it's called, but when a ball comes towards you, if you press a direction and X, you kind of do it apart, or you kind of take the ball away into that direction. But you can do a pass.
Touch, yeah.
You can do a pass that straight away to another direction, and when you do that and get it right, you see someone running on you, like, ball's coming towards you, left and X. It feels so natural and instinctive rather than just literally pressing a button like you would do in FIFA. It really felt like you properly, you sensed where the defender was coming, where the gaps were. You can see your player running on. It just feels so much better just to do a simple pass using that, like instinctive or kind of it just feels like a natural way to play a football game, and it feels so good just doing a simple pass, let alone stringing them passes together and then having a shot or getting a goal or whatever. It just feels really different.
So this is going to be one of those games, right, where once people really, really start to master all of these aspects, it'll be quite incredible, right? In terms of like what you'll
I mean,
see.
this is it, right? So this is the concern I have about it. We'll get to that, James. Let me just get this off my chest. So firstly, like Sean, I just have to say as well, you know, that whole idea about whoever's in goal is suddenly in goal. That's like a known thing since I was a kid. You know, it's rush keepers. You would say that. You like, no one really wanted to go in goal when I was a kid, so it'd just be right. Rush keepers then. So whoever was in the area was suddenly the goalkeeper and all that sort of stuff. So it feels like it's picked all of that stuff up from childhood football. But the reason why I was excited about this is because we got a pro clubs team. We play a lot of pro clubs. This season on FC 25, we've played way less pro clubs because there's not been as many of us playing regularly. So we've been playing a lot of Rush, which is their version of a five-a-side game. It's 3 players, is it? 3 players or 4? I can't remember. I think it's 3. It must
I thought it was up to 5, but maybe not.
No, I don't think it's up to 5 on Rush, but it's always the same amount of players, you know.
Yeah, it's 5v5.
Yeah, but is that including the goalkeeper because you don't control the goalkeeper?
Possibly.
I think it is 4. I think it's 4 players on Rush, 4v4, and then computer controlled goalkeepers. Anyway, kind of irrelevant. We've been enjoying it because we can have a full team. We don't have to rely on randoms or AI characters too much and everything's the same. And we're really good at it mainly because we've all played together a lot, so we know how to play with each other. And we're playing against teams of randoms who all want to score, so they all run forward, and then you just ping it over their heads. And then we absolutely own it. That's that game mode. And it was like, well, this is an opportunity to do that, but in a more complicated setting. And I think it could be amazing. However, and this is what I'm getting to, James, needs a fucking lot of work, like a lot of work. This is launching next month. The netcode is dreadful. Yeah. Like it's really laggy. There are moments where there are problems where the ball gets stuck in the middle of the park. We've had moments where I've tackled someone and then suddenly it sort of glitches through and someone's through on goal 1-on-1 and we've conceded. And you go, but I tackled them. There's a lot of work to do on that front. There's a hell of a lot of work to do on presentation, and things like, for example, one of the cool things about playing Rush on FC24 is that, and look, we're talking about a really massive game that's piled with money here and that has been built up over God knows how many years compared to like this debut game. But it's stuff that you will come to expect. I should be able to, not necessarily when the game launches, eventually I want to be able to create a club within Rematch to keep scores for our players and statistics around my team, how many games we've lost, how many games we've won, who's the top goal scorer, all of that stuff. Yeah, you want all of that in this. You want better cosmetics. At the moment it's really basic. You want a little bit more atmosphere while you're playing. There's no commentary, which is fine. I'm okay with no commentary, but instead it's got like this sort of music that sort of ebbs and flows with the match, which is nice but also gets a bit tiresome.
But it's quite tense, isn't it? Like the music it's definitely much more tense than like a Rocket League or anything else sport-wise.
Yeah, so it builds up. So when you're playing it around at the back, it's quite subtle, and then as you go on attack, it starts building up. I like the concept. I think it gets quite irritating after a while. So to mix that up a little bit, they do this really cool thing that when you score, the background drops and you're in a new stadium for every goal, which sounds like a good concept. But I'm like, don't focus on that shit. That is, let's focus on other stuff that's going on the pitch at the moment.
That feels kind of like true to Shrefu, like what they did before. It's like it's the style side of things which they were really heavily into with that game, and then if that's what they're trying to also do with this, this sort of like really focusing on style.
Yeah, but they are and they aren't. So that stuff is great, but visually, I don't think it's like it's got an okay art style. But if you were to look at it, you wouldn't go, "Fucking hell, that looks decent."
Yeah, it basically is Sifu with Rocket League. They are the two styles are basically matched together. It's like a slightly...
are they really?
Yeah, do you not play Sifu?
No, I didn't. I never
Okay.
played it. No, I always
yeah,
like sort
it
of
does.
admired
It does
from
look
afar,
quite
but
see-through in that regard, but basically that plus Rocket League, which I don't mind.
my worry is that there's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be in it from day one, right? And that I don't mind if clubs are added next year. I don't mind if completely personalising your football kit isn't in it till 2 years down the road. That's fine. What worries me is how much of this stuff won't make it to launch is going to have an impact on the length, the lifeline of this game. You know, if people, you know, this launches at, I think it's £20 on the PS5 and it's going to be on Game Pass. When this launches, people get into it. How long are they going to last before they go, for fuck's sake, every time I play it, there's some sort of lag issue. And then they move away from it, and then suddenly it falls down a pit. I don't know where this is going to land.
Hopefully it's just literally because it's the beta. I mean, like they say, you know, as all betas doesn't represent final quality. They'll be testing this, like, the other.
Totally,
you know,
yeah,
so
totally.
if it's just like, you know, these early stress tests or whatever it is, then I don't mind it. I mean, all the stuff at the clubs, I'm sure that'll come in. That sounds like right.
Yeah,
for that.
I mean, if it's a success, it will absolutely come in, and I think there's room for a game like this,
especially on Game Pass as
100%.
well. It's going to have like millions of players potentially on week one. So
yeah, exactly,
fingers
day
could be
one,
huge.
and that's the problem. That's what I'm worried about. Like millions of people.
If it's a
day
bad
one,
first impression, you mean?
seeing
Yeah.
it. Yes, if it's a bad first impression, that'll have a huge impact. And if they have that many people playing on day one, and the beta, which is partly closed beta, is struggling this much with the netcode, what's going to happen when there's such a huge influx of players when that launches? I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's been a ton of work done in the background. I'm sure they're working their arse off to get this as smooth as possible.
Yeah, we don't know it's netcode. It could be literally number of servers, and it could be a whole host of, or actually them testing how the game functions when there are fewer servers than maybe they're planning for. How does that work? I don't know. It's all testing,
there are also some gameplay aspects that need work. You're never 100% sure when you've got control of the ball and when you haven't. So the first touch idea is great. So when the ball's coming towards you, you don't even need to look at where the ball's coming from. It'll make this little ding sound, and a retina goes around the ball, and you press A or X depending on what controller you're holding, and you've got a first touch there. You can control the ball, but sometimes you're knocking it away from you, which is fine. You then go towards the ball, you think you've connected with it, and then you move away, but you haven't. The ball just stays there, and I'm like, I should always know if the ball's at my feet or not. Like, I should always know whether I've got control of that ball or not. I don't know how you do that. I mean, if I was sitting down, I'd say maybe your boots should be a different colour if you've got full control of the ball, so that it's a visual, yes, I know when I've got the ball at my feet and I know what I'm doing with it. But maybe there's probably a million reasons why that is a stupid idea. I'm not a games developer. Fortunately, I'm not a games developer. It would cost a lot of people a lot of money if I was. But there's also things like times where you're in goal and you're diving at someone's feet and you feel that you're close enough to be able to grab the ball and you just slide past it, giving them an open goal, and not having that understanding of when and when not to go for something because you can't trust whether you're going to be in control of it or not. Rocket League got all of that right day one. Do you know what I mean? You knew when you were hitting the ball, you knew when you were missing the ball, and not once did it feel like the game was screwing you a little bit. Whereas here, I have had those moments. And again, this is a beta, right? And we're looking forward to the full release next month. I'm just really hoping... Yeah. This month, is it? Oh, yeah, of course. We're in the month of June now, aren't we? I really, really hope there's been huge improvements, because I think a lot of people will jump onto it and they need to be able to grab those people and hold on to them for the survival of the game. But we're going to be playing it on launch.
Yeah, I was it felt a bit complicated and a bit unwieldy at first, but just the times you did score a goal or thread a good move, make a good move together, it felt more than a goal does in FIFA or EFC, because it felt like you fully worked towards it. I mean, yeah, it's when it was great, it was excellent. Obviously, there was some bugs and stuff, but we'll see what it's like when it comes out. But I'm definitely really excited for it. Could be amazing.
That's Rematch, out this month. Have a look if it sounds interesting to you. There's been another new game release that we've all been playing apart from Sean. I thought you had played this.
I've watched Isaac playing it,
Okay.
but that's it.
To a T. Did it come out this week or last week? I forget.
Well, yeah, last
It
week.
was last week. Yeah, it came out.
It's only Monday today,
after
isn't
we
it?
recorded the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the latest game from. You're gonna have to help me here. Takahashi.
Takahashi, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar of his work, we will. I had a list of games up and I can't.
It's like Wattam and
Well, it's all his Katamari
Nobby Nobby
games
Boy.
is still probably his biggest impact, right? And then Nobby Nobby Boy and then Wattam. I don't think anyone played Wattam. No one really.
No, I didn't play it.
Yeah.
Well, I've always had like a struggling relationship with this particular developer, mainly because I never really got on with Katamari. I enjoyed Nobby Nobby Boy for what it was, like it's like a play thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything to really write
It was
home
a
about, and
toy
it had
rather
some.
than
Yeah, it was a toy. It had some ideas above its station, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
the whole idea that it was something the whole world was working towards and to stretch out into the universe. I love that stuff, but the actual playing of it was quite tedious. But I still enjoyed it on some level. I think my favourite game of his that I've played was 10 Year One Year Teens. But
Oh God, yeah.
who the hell was ever going to play that ever? That was
required
That was a music
specific
one, wasn't it?
physical setup.
No, it was what it was. It was it had a unique controller, and you had to play it. It was doing tours of
It
different.
was EGX, wasn't it? Or did I?
It rezzed.
Well, yeah,
Rezzed and
I suppose it
EGX.
was,
Yeah. So it did tours of like expos and stuff. And what it was is that it was a 2-player game, and you had little tasks to do. And as you played through, it would say, right, green button is now jump. And then later on, it was like blue button is take your trousers off. Right, and stuff like that, right? So you're trying to remember what each action was, and in front of you was a control stick, and God, what was it? It was like 16 different buttons, and those buttons would change color depending on what you were doing. And not only would they change color, they would also change position. So there were times where it was like, you're supposed to be in a park picking up litter or whatever, and you press what you think is the red button to pick up because that's what you did 2 games ago. But that button has now turned to blue, so your character then takes his trousers off and starts running around with his willy out, and you think this is fucking brilliant. I can totally see why this is. I wish I had a way of playing this, and I'm like actually a bit pissed off that it's not come out on phones somehow, because it feels like that could actually work on phones. But there you go. I thought that was actual genius. Like I saw what they were trying to do and they nailed it. It was perfect. But a lot of the other games that I've played have not been like that. And I got to say, after I played this for an hour this morning before passing it over, I was not into it at all.
I mean,
I
yeah,
was
like
not
what
into it.
I mean, Isaac must have played about, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And yeah, I've not been like, oh man, I can't wait to play this. I'm quite happy watching him because he's having an amazing time, to be clear.
Is he?
I feel like he's enjoying it more than I would. I'm having more fun watching him enjoying it than I would playing it myself, I think.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think the same. Like Charlie's really enjoying it, but at the same time he's getting really frustrated. So what it is that it's a sort of a story-driven game full of mini games where you play as a teenage character who is going to school every morning and getting themselves ready for school, and some stuff happens that I will not go into because I think that's partly a bit of a spoiler. But it's just full of mini games, isn't it? So you get up and you brush your teeth. So you put toothpaste on your toothbrush and you move your head in the right way to clean your teeth properly, or you're in class and you've got to draw something, so you move your stick around to draw stuff and bits and pieces like that. But
I don't think we've said. The point is, he's in a permanent T-pose.
Yes.
So his arms are constantly outstretched.
Well, it's a female character, right?
Oh, I suppose it can be either, right? I think.
Yeah,
it's
I think
just,
it's-
You can choose at the beginning what kind of face shape and stuff you'd like.
Oh, really? I didn't.
And
know
you can choose
could...
to call them whatever you want. I just kept with a standard teen.
Well, the boys decided to call the character Joe, and we said, "Oh, no, this is Joe. This is Mummy when she went to school. This is the story of Mummy
right.
while she was at school." But yeah, they're in a permanent T pose, and which again, in the concept of the world, which is a very minor point, right? Okay, this is like having a go of the lore of thank goodness you're here, to be honest with you. But there was a bit where it was like, this character's only supposed to be the only one with it standing in a T pose all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet the green man and red man at the crossing are in T poses, and I was kind of like, okay, okay, fine.
Really
I mean, it was a funny little gag, but okay. But I haven't played enough of it to give a proper full impression. I just played enough of it to go, so I'm not feeling this. So, Matt, you have finished it, have you?
Yeah, I finished it. Yeah.
Go on.
I fucking hate this game.
Really?
Yeah.
You do not say that a lot.
No.
I don't. I mean, I saw it, and I think we must have seen it on like a Nintendo Direct or something before. It looked interesting, and we were captivated by maybe the songs that were playing on.
It's on that Annapurna showcase, wasn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, and like they had the funky songs and stuff, but the actual game itself just did my absolute head in. Yeah, because just some songs. There were just 2 songs. So this game is split into 8 chapters or 8 episodes, and at the end of each one and start the next one, there's like a song, but it's the same song. It's the same giraffe song that happens every time.
Yeah, because
I don't get that.
I've noticed the repetition. I was like, oh, maybe there's like subtle differences each time I've not noticed. But
I think there's a reason for that, because I think what it is what they've tried to do is it's like each one is supposed to be an episode, and it's supposed to be like an episode of a TV series or something. Of a kids
it's like
show.
kids TV or something.
That's what it is, and so. But the problem is that like particularly the giraffe one doesn't really fit at all with anything that's going on. You're like, I don't know why I'm watching this one again.
Yeah.
It's especially considering this has not had anything to do with what's been going on in what I've been playing for like the whole time.
Yeah, I only listened to the first one, but I mean, ultimately, I hated the way this game controls. I hated the writing.
What in terms of the mini games or the actual moving the character?
So the mini games are, I think, unwieldy on purpose. There's like a not that it's not co-op or anything, but there's an element of like weird physics and stuff. Like as David mentioned, when you brush your teeth, I think it might be like you have obviously 2 arms or 2 bits of the T, and it might be like RB to like move your arm, and then you lose the right stick to like. To move at a different angle to get maybe like toothpaste or whatever. So, and then you move the sticks left and right to brush your teeth. They're kind of unwieldy, but they're fine. It's just actually navigating the environment, like going up. So, the whole environment you're in, like this town, and there are roads, there are pavements, and just getting around that area, I just found really horrible to have to like play. There's like people in the way, you get stuck on things. It says, okay, you need to go to this part of town. You can see where to go on the road, but no, like the road's closed. You'll just kind of, your character will go off in a distance, and it'll say, oh, I don't think this is the right way to go. Like, well, what is the effing way to go then, for Christ's sake?
And it's also the way that when you're walking along the road, like when you get to like a corner or whatever, the camera will spin around like to different
angles. So the camera's always in fixed points, often like side on.
Which is quite annoying because it can be a bit disorientating, because you're looking, you bring up your map, and you're like, okay, well, I want to get to like the school or whatever. You walk down a road and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm facing the right way, because there's no, and it's like you have to keep sort of like checking it to make sure you are actually going the right way, because the camera keeps flipping all the time, like as you go around into another road.
I didn't have an issue with that at all.
But you've not played that far in, David. It's like.
Seriously, but when you like need to get through a maze and find like, so there's one, the maze is fine, it's just a maze, but it's like, no, you need to get to a location that's next to the maze. I'm like, well, hang on, if I go down left, it just goes kind of blur, well, not, it goes like blurry, saying, this is not the right way. I mean, I found my way around it. It's just deeply unsatisfying, and I hated having to navigate the environment. And then when you get into kind of maybe more enclosed environments, the camera goes crazy. And the camera was
it really does.
There's a bit you do in a warehouse, and I was so close to throwing my controller through the window, because in that warehouse you're on like tiny little kind of you're climbing shelving units and boxes and stuff to get to certain places. like the camera kept flipping. It wasn't satisfying to move around at all. It's whoever designed the camera, I want words. I want words. It is.
It
That should
feels
not be
like
allowed out in the public, frankly.
It feels like a sort of like PS2/PS3 era camera. Do you know what I mean? Like in the sense that it goes all over the place. I mean, that warehouse bit that Matt's talking about, my whole game glitched with that, and I ended up having to do the chapter like twice because I got stuck behind some scenery and went like the wrong route, and it wasn't like clear that that's what was going on. It's dreadful. Like it's not so bad when you're out in the open, but as soon as you go indoors, it becomes like really really terrible.
There's no signposting. Like the writing I felt terrible. I mean, not that and there's loads of games I enjoy which are not this, but this writing can never be kind of classed as kind of to the point. There's just so many words. It's like ChatGPT the game. It's like there's like word. Just get to the fucking point. Like where are we? What are we doing with this? It's just words. Like I'm not captivated by the charm or the characters. It's just bullshit. And I don't think this is a kids game, but we'll come back to that in a minute.
Initially I was kind of charmed by this because I really liked like the environment, the whole sort of thing, and then it ground me down, and I got more and more irritated by it while I was playing, to the point where by the end I was just like, this is fucking dreadful. Like, what's going on here? Mostly because, as I said, like all the dialogue is so boring, and all the like the mini game stuff is so surface level and like so repetitive as well as you go through. Like there's no like, it doesn't innovate at all. Like,
and they're not fun.
No, that's the thing. It's not fun. It's boring.
If they were fun, okay, fine. Give me loads. Give me 10. Like, so on day one, you go downstairs, I guess, at your house, and your mum is like, hey, don't forget to wash your face because you have a little, what they call eye bogies. Brush your teeth, have cereal, right? You can do them. And on day 2 or 3, or whatever, or episode 2 or 3, she's like, oh, you don't have to do it anymore. You're old enough now. You're a teen. But I was still doing them. I don't know why. I probably shouldn't have done, because they're not even fun. Like, you're pouring the cereal.
What I didn't get about that, just out of interest, like the one where you have to wash your face.
Yeah.
She kept saying, "Oh, check. Has it all gone?" And
yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, it has all gone." So what's the thing? And then I kept
had it all gone though, David? Had it all gone?
Well, it looked all gone.
But you know, because it all like there's
all your face will say shiny, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, it's done. It's fine.
It was bizarre.
I think David went to school with a dirty face.
No, I got there eventually, but I was kind of like, what? But shouldn't you make it really obvious if there's muck on the face still?
There are little like yellow dots to signify.
Yeah, they were all gone. Yeah, they were all gone.
Anyway,
they were all gone.
But then also, sorry, Matt.
Just on the mini games, like I think there's a days on, and I'm like, please don't tell me I've got to do. No, I've got to do that shit again. I've got to do. Just tell me I don't have to do the cereal. Like, in themselves, they're not like this is horrendous. It's just not fun. There's no
because it does that Animal Crossing thing as well of like having to have all the dialogue before you do it again. And it's just like, I've seen all of this already, and this is already torturously boring to do. And now you're making me listen to like more dialogue that I've already seen before. And the other thing that I felt a bit annoyed about, I think, by the end, was that as you're going around the place, there's all of like these like coins and stuff you can collect. There's like everywhere. There's like coins to collect.
Pink coins, like there's like little pink coins, blue coins, and even like these treasure chests with loads of coins.
And they're like, there must be something to this. Like, you're going around, you can. It's obviously an incentive to try and explore the the world and everything, but it becomes pretty obvious very quickly that there is very little point to doing this, because the only thing you can do with these coins is you can go to a shop and you can buy some new shoes or a new shirt or something like that. Yeah. And it's like, I don't care. I mean, maybe some people are going to get into that. I don't know, but I could not
end up loving it. I mean,
I think that's fine for people who like it. But I think I ended the game with like 60,000 of those coins.
It just felt.
I bought I bought some carrot shoes just to feel something, and it didn't do anything for me.
It just felt like the whole of like the that sort of the world that they created was just, there's nothing to do there really. Like, there's really very little to do, and you're just thinking this feels like such a waste because it looks so nice.
But I don't mind. I mean, not every game has to be. There's a million things to do, go shops, buy things. I get that, but it's more just none of it is enjoyable to do.
No, it's just
or satisfying to do.
That's the problem.
Because like watching Isaac play it, I was like, oh man, it's a Keita Takahashi game. it'll probably end with him flying around in fucking space or something. It's going to go crazy. Does that just not?
No, there is
yeah,
all that
it
sort
does
of
go
stuff.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's the other thing. Like when it came to like that sort of stuff, I was like expecting it. Do you know what I mean? You're
Right.
just like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
going to be a bit off the wall, isn't it? Like what's going to happen now? I know. See, Asher played it and he finished it over the weekends as well, and he thought it was fine. Like he was like, yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad. But he wasn't like really into it or anything. It's
The bit that really fucking pissed me off was the drawing bit in class.
yeah.
I've got no idea how it's supposed to work, but I was trying everything. I was moving the stick. All it says is draw to move the stick. I was doing that, it just wasn't working. The only way I got it to work was bringing up the guide button and then getting rid of the guide button again, and then he would do
really?
it for a little bit and then get stuck again, and I had to do the guide button again to get it to work. It was. Yeah, that was infuriating. That was one of those ones where you get hot in the chest with anger.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can
about
see-
halfway through this game, I was like, I hate this game. I'm gonna have to finish it. So I was basically that.
How long was it?
It's 4 hours.
4 or 5 hours, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is like I can understand.
Took me 29 hours, but.
I can understand the argument that some people would be like, oh, it's for children. Children will like it, all that kind of thing. I don't think that's really true because I'm sure, yeah, initially they probably will, but I can't imagine many kids wanting to go through the entire thing because the dialogue is so bad and it's so intrusive.
It's
that
not even the
it'll
quality.
just-
It goes on forever. It's like
exactly.
I'm pretty sure
it's,
Isaac stopped reading it. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
was just skipping through it.
It's just.
I will say, just to counteract this, the one thing I do think is great is the visuals. Now, I just they're very basic in terms of texture. They're quite flat on pastel colors, but it does some really gorgeous things with lighting. There's a bit where you're in like forest or wood, and the music felt very Zelda. And I can almost squint like this could be like I can imagine Link in this forest with this art style and these graphics and there's some really gorgeous things with lighting. Just when we saw the kind of reflection of the moonlight off some like shiny surfaces. It's like at points it can look lovely, and I love just like the way like the speech bubbles look across characters' heads and the font they use. I think style-wise it's really nice. It's just that's the only for me redeeming feature of what was incredibly infuriating and just not fun game.
It's a shame because I love. I think gaming's all about everything. There's so many different when a game does something so different like this, you really want it to succeed because you want more of this. But when it fumbles this much, it is such a shame. Like it's more than just a disappointing experience. It's like fuck, man. What is that? Are they? People are not going to attempt this stuff anymore, and that kills me.
Well, so I played on Xbox. It's on Game Pass, and I finished it tonight. And by getting the last achievement, which is it's only 8 chapters, the whole game's like 4 or 5 hours long. I was only like 2% of people had done that.
Yeah,
admittedly, it only came out last week, and
game's like
blah blah
that,
blah.
yeah.
Most of them like that. I mean, for me, the writing isn't good, and there's lots of issues. But if it was just nicer to play, and the camera wasn't total horseshit, then it wouldn't be anywhere near as bad. But it's just, unfortunately, those two fundamental problems are like, I guess it got worse after that because I was already annoyed by the camera and the gameplay wasn't correct. I mean, this could have been a much better 2-hour game than a 4.5, 5-hour game for me.
It could have been a better game if it was a bit more sort of sandboxy, I think, honestly, rather than the story stuff, which is just boring.
But if they tried a sandbox, would that not feel limited as well? Because, this isn't... Are they really not going to have the budget to do like a proper sandbox? So,
no, not
if anything, I wish it was more limited. Like I don't want them to go in like a sandbox.
You want
area.
more of that story.
No, I didn't say that. I just think I just thought it could have also, they could have got rid of like me having to traverse through town for no enjoyment, or do lots of stuff where the camera went wrong, or they tried to follow me down a certain path to get across town. They could have got rid of all of that and made it almost like like a side scroller. It would have been maybe more enjoyable. I don't know. I didn't need all that stuff that just seemed to add in complexities and reduce the fun that was already severely lacking for me.
And also, like the music, like the first 2 or 3 times that you hear like the theme tune, all that kind of thing, it's great. It's really nice and everything. Yeah. After you've heard it quite a lot of times, it does start to get quite irritating. Particularly the giraffe one.
It's not a terribly long game.
Because the giraffe one isn't funny. The main theme one is quite funny and charming, and the giraffe one's just like, okay. Yep, making
I
sandwiches.
feel
What a shame.
Right.
felt annoyed about this one.
Yeah, I think for a
What
game with
a
only
shame.
5 hours long, they could have made. It would be nice to have more songs, but that's just, you know.
Avoid to a T.
For me,
is,
that's a 1 out of 10 for me.
Stamp.
More like two
A
and
1
out.
out of 10.
Oh, okay, no, that's very well. The only thing I liked was the visuals. Okay, if I wasn't gonna rip them to shreds, I'll say 3 out of 10.
Okay, wow. I've never heard you be this negative about a
Yeah.
video
It just
game
really,
ever.
really did matter.
Is this the least favourite game you've ever played?
Certainly up there, because we get a question a lot about
Down.
what's a shit game you play, but generally I don't. But
Yeah, because who's got the time, right? But yeah.
actually, right. So Ben in the chat has just said Annapurna are shite, aren't they, Matt? And I was thinking of this because obviously in the past I said Annapurna only really put good stuff out, and then they put out 12 hours, 12 minutes, and I was
12
like, fuck, this is another one. This is another one. I'm like, oh, apart from them two, I mean, 12 minutes was way better than this.
Do you remember 12 minutes?
It was way better than this game.
I never played it, but and I know this is a miserable way to experience a game story, but yeah, I found out what the twist was. Right, I need to just read the story, and I was just like,
No, the twist was even more mad than you probably think. I remember us having a
Do you remember
30-minute phone call.
Yeah, we
James.
kept calling each other because we were just like, this is terrible.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I did not hate it anywhere near as much as that. In fact, I probably just thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah,
Was
I
this?
remember in 12 minutes. Oh god, what a bad video game that was. That was so bad. And some of the fucking puzzle solutions were just outrageously shit. Okay, alright, okay. Well,
I'd
don't
love to
like
see
shit
someone
on games,
defend the
but
camera in this game. Kids game or not, defend the camera. Go on.
Imagine if you defend the camera in any game. I don't understand.
No, no, but like most cameras are these days good in games.
Yeah.
As James said, this
Okay.
was like the early days of 3D. It's like it's working out how cameras work.
yeah.
Forget
Whereas now
it.
it feels like this should be a solved problem.
Yeah.
like so many good examples to draw on.
Yeah, Phil also says Maquette was
Yeah,
another.
Maquette.
That was terrible. I mean, it had a couple of good puzzles in it, but for the most part, oh god, the story in it was absolutely appalling in that game. Holy shit! Right, okay. Sean Bell, you've been playing a game called Ghost Town.
I have. Ooh.
Huh?
This
Yeah.
is a
What?
VR game. Do you remember VR games?
No.
But it's from Fireproof Games, the people who did The Room 1, 2, and 3, and
You had me at The Room.
The old Sin, yeah, good games, good
Very
puzzle
good games.
very very good puzzle games. And then obviously they did The Room VR, which I played quite a bit of, but not as much as I should have, and really enjoyed it. This is a bit of a departure, but not quite. There's some similar ground, but basically in this you are playing as a woman who is a spiritual medium slash exorcist slash all round
Like Clinton Baptiste.
yeah. And basically, you're called upon to do like odd jobs, right? You run like this agency, and it's kind of, it's never entirely clear in the game like how open the sort of spiritual stuff is, but it's certainly open enough that like the government know that ghosts are a thing, right? You like there's like you have interactions with like the Ministry of Defence and stuff, and they work with like local covens and stuff, and you start out like you're sent to this old theatre where there's you need to do an exorcism, and basically so I've only played a couple of hours of this, which obviously in VR time is a lot, right? For like a story-based VR game, the fact that I actually just started playing this one evening and then was in there for like 2.5 hours, it's quite extreme for VR. Normally I'd do an hour and I'm like, yeah, right, I'm gonna sit down now, thanks. But yeah, so basically your brother has gone missing, and because you're a spiritual medium, you're like, I know he's not dead, but I don't know where he is, and I think I need to find him. And yeah, it's essentially it's as I say, it's still The Room-ish in that there are puzzles with an occult leaning. So some of it's quite sort of mechanical, whereas sometimes it's slightly spooky magical stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of things I really like about this. One of them is a thing I always liked about the room was like your interactions with it as a player. Like you're solving puzzles, right? But the narrative was sort of like it was dressed up in a way that could be spooky, but actually you're this, this apprentice, and you've got notes from the guy who's teaching you how all this shit works, and it's all quite matter of fact, right? So you put on, in the room, there'll be bits where you put on your spooky specs, and suddenly there's like a message written on the wall, which is like a very mild jump scare to you as a player, but to the character you're playing as, that's like, no, this is how we leave messages for each other. It's fine. It's not a problem. And this kind of goes further with that in that there are bits of it that are spooky, but the character you're playing as, she's kind of seen it all. She's been doing this for about 10 years at this point. She's not like snarky about it, but she knows what she's doing, and she's not really phased by it. And she's dealing with other people who are part of this sort of occult world, and a sort of have this same mindset. It's all quite matter of fact and quite grounded. It's like really, really interesting tone to it all. Like there's one bit, I'm trying to. That's not really spoiler territory. This is only like an hour or two in, but basically, you're getting help from this other medium, trying to find your brother, and she helps you out. And she does this ritual, and you get this sort of like horrifying vision, right? That there's maybe something more going on, like something bad is about to happen. And then as you sort of come to, this woman who helped you with the ritual is like, she's like sat at this table, and she's like scribbling really frantically, right? And she's like chanting over and over, like saying the same thing over and over, and like she's completely lost it. And you're like, oh shit, like this is something to do with that vision I just had. This is really bad. What am I going to do? And she's like, she's been scribbling on this piece of paper to the point that it's just this black, like mass on this piece of paper, right? She's got this biro, and she's just scribbling and chanting. And eventually you get her attention, and she's like, oh, and then she sort of looks at the piece of paper and goes, oh, I've done one of my drawings. Like, and it's little moments like that. It's not like laugh out loud funny, but it's just like, oh yeah, this is just what these people do, and it's just little moments like that really, really sort of sell it. The puzzles are good. Like there's this early section where you're making your way up a lighthouse, and it's kind of you're moving. There's like a central column in the lighthouse, and you move like trying to get up floor by floor, and then as you're walking around the outside of the lighthouse, like what's on the inside of the lighthouse is changing depending on which bit you stood in, and it's and it's just really cool. The fact that like there are ghosts, and they'll sort of appear out of nowhere, and you're like, oh shit, that was a bit spooky, but they're not trying to get you. They're not they're not like horrible evil spirits. They're like they're people who have regrets in life and they haven't been able to move on to the afterlife, and you're just kind of helping them out. Really, they're usually just really sad about something, and you're trying to sort of figure a way to help them pass on to the afterlife. But what is really cool is, so you'll sort of, the way it's worked so far is you're going through an environment doing real life physical puzzles, finding clues, working out what the ghost's story is, and then there will come a point where you can do the exorcism, and you sort of cross over into the spirit realm in order to do it, and then you kind of see like how the ghost is perceiving things, and it's usually they're sort of obsessed with this one event or this one mistake they made or whatever, and that then allows the developers to go nuts with the environments and the way things are presented. So as I say, you start off with this one in the lighthouse, and then when you go into the spirit world, you're like on the ocean floor, and it's absolutely stunning. Like the transitions and the way it looks and everything, it's just really beautifully done. But the real life stuff is really nicely done too. Like Quest games, I'm playing this on the Quest 3. Quest games in particular seem to struggle with like textures, right? I think it's one of the reasons we always say like,
sure.
Like Walkabout Minigolf looks as good as it does because it doesn't have any textures in it, and they've built it around that. Whereas this is like, there's a scene where you're on like a little tugboat, right, and you're getting taken to the this island, and you're just in this little room on this little boat, and there's just a bookshelf, and I just took a minute just looking at all the books, because they've all just got really fine detail on them, and you can see all the names of all the books, and there's just all like pots and pans strewn around, and just, I don't know, it's like this. As I'm describing it now, I'm just like, well, big deal, like, you know, there's stuff like this in games all the time, but it's just really beautifully lived in, like really detailed spaces, you know.
Yeah, the stuff
See,
I've heard. Go on, David.
For me, it's not so much the detailing and texturing that I think VR games struggles with. I think it's the fact that we play games now with such high. The lighting in the games we're playing on flat screen gaming is just so incredible. It makes such a big difference, and VR games have to cut a lot back to get the games running in the fucking first place. Because you've got something on your head that is not as powerful as most modern game consoles, and it's having to run it twice. You know, if that's how it works, one for each eye, type stuff. And I can't imagine how hard it is to get a game running in VR in the first place. I mean, Matt's got a few stories, but we're like, I mean,
Yeah, that's not-
it's not going to that. But obviously, one of the easiest ways to cut back is the lighting. But I'm looking at gameplay footage now, and it does not look like it. I mean, there are areas where it looks a bit flat and not well lit.
You can see, you know, sort of bits of, you know, rocky outcrops or whatever, and it's like, yeah, it's just, you know, if that was on a modern console game, you'd maybe pull a face at it. But yeah, the lighting is really good.
Yeah, there's a bit where you're walking down a hallway. It just looks fucking incredible. The lights like bouncing off the walls and stuff. It makes such a huge difference. So how the fuck they've got this running on on a thing that you slap on your head is pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is I should say as well. Yeah, so I played this on Quest 3. I think it's playable on Quest 2 as well. But it's also on PSVR 2 and Steam, I think. So yeah, I kind of want to see either the PC version or the PSVR 2 version, to be honest, because I think it'll look stunning.
Sean, have you got Quest Games Optimizer on your headset?
I've got it. I've bought it, but I haven't installed it or used it yet.
It's worth, like, almost every, you know, well, I mean, it's definitely when I was kind of in that scene, it's almost like every review is like, hey, here's a review, but also here's the settings to make it work a little bit better.
It is nuts, isn't it? So for listeners who aren't aware, there's an unofficial app you can get for the Quest headsets, and it just makes all the games look and run better. Like everyone, like every comment I've seen is like, yeah, I know it sounds like bullshit, but it's real and it works.
Yeah, so it's called Quest Games Optimizer, and you can change frame rates, you can unlock things, you can change texture detail and all sorts. And when we were working on Games XR Games, we were like, well, this is cool, but I've made it run even better using this app. I'm like, okay, cool, mate. But yeah, it really does work. Like you can change like things to increase your battery life and all sorts to reduce resources. It's a pretty impressive app. But on this, yeah, I mean, I watched reviews when it first came out, and people were talking quite highly about it. They were saying not that it's a direct comparison, but there was kind of Heart of Alex-esque moments where the characters are really, really well done and the environments feel really lived in, and they feel like much more natural conversations because of how they're presented.
Like the dialogue's great. Voice acting's superb. Like I'm pretty sure it must all be fully mo-capped. Like, yeah, really. It's just the production values of it are just so beyond. Like, certainly anything I've played on the Quest. I reckon probably there's PSVR stuff that would give it a run for its money, but yeah, it's just so beautifully put together. Like, I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. Good game so far.
Cool. I'll have to have a look at that Games Quest Optimizer thing, because yeah, apparently it works really. I know people just saying it works really well with walkabout mini golfs. You can like bump up the resolution on that, and it's okay. Cool. Shall we get to your questions, ladies and gentlemen?
If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Lee says, I was most disappointed to find that old episodes of Midnight Resistance are no longer available on my podcast apps. Is Sean aware of this, and can he do something about it? I am aware of it because it was me that pulled the plug on the Squarespace subscription. They actually kept the podcast alive.
Plot twist.
Yeah, they kept it alive for like a long time after I stopped paying them. So thanks, Squarespace. But yeah, no, listener, I don't know how to pronounce his name. apparently it is pronounceable, but he's on the Discord. It's a made up online handle, but I don't know what his real name is. Anyway,
David. That's that's what they call themselves.
He, along with friend of the show Chris Spann, have put them all up on archive.org. If you search for, I think it's Midnight Resistance podcast.
And are you now busy trying to take down archive.org
any
as well?
caveats?
Yeah, it's like, I'm now trying to cancel
caveats?
them, and that's now offline. That's weird. It's offline, that website now. Don't know why that is.
And I've got £1 million. I think they're in sort of a weird order because there was some episodes missing, and then Chris supplied those, but the missing ones are at the end of the playlist. But you can just download the lot, and they're all on there. But thank you for giving a shit, obviously. Phil Wall says, following on from Poo in a Tin scenario from last week, the TCGS World War III bunker only has enough space for one book each, alongside the complete works of James Farley. What book are you choosing to survive the apocalypse? Thanks for all the smiles.
Good question.
Not really a book guy.
Where's Wally?
But if you've got nothing else to do, Sean, maybe you will be.
That's true.
No, because well, I mean, it's your choice.
50 Shades. Remember that? Remember that whole
I do,
debacle?
but Sean, we don't want you horny in the bunker with us. If it's okay with you.
Well, speak for yourself,
don't worry,
Matt.
won't be.
Oh, good point. I'd rather go outside and get radiation, frankly.
I'll have one of the. I'll have the first. I've got it in real life, but I've got the first Expanse book I need to read. Apparently, they're really good.
Matt, have you got an answer?
I was going to say the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because there's a lot there, or 1984. But is that book? Am I cancelled for liking that book? I mean, it's been a while since I read it, but
I don't think you're not cancelled for liking it. Okay. I think it's a bit. I think it's now a bit obvious.
Probably, but yeah. That
it's still revered, yeah.
I'm going to go for The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole.
Oh, also a classic. Well, we can all swap, can't we? That's allowed.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't want Sean's copy of 50 Shades if that's okay with you, Sean.
Stuck together, mate.
I'll just go to Where's Wally. If Where's Wally stuck together though, we're in serious trouble down there.
I would take the Laugh a Minute Joke Book by Bobby Davro. That would be my.
Is that aged well?
Don't know.
No,
I haven't read it for a while, so we'll find out in that bunker.
I don't think I'm going to spend very long in this bunker.
Beautiful thing. Oh no, beautiful thing. Beautiful thing about that, Sean, is that no one can cancel us down there, can they?
That's true. Uncancelable. Yeah.
No.
What was
little
that?
Job.
What was that Sonic one that you read?
Sonic versus Sonic.
Ben put it in the chat. Yeah, Sonic versus Sonic.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Maybe we could get to the end of that.
4 months that fucking sewer bit.
Sean, why don't you go send the book to Dave and I so we can continue it?
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't send that.
Painful.
Bottled it. I can't face the idea of you actually doing it.
No, what if I can't complete
in case
it?
It's
no one
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to just set fire to it. Dylan from Toronto says the world is ending and scientists are trying to put together a space capsule containing the best examples of human culture to launch into space. The hope is that even after we've gone, an alien species may find it and learn about us, our story, and our values. As leading experts, scientists have nominated the 4 of you to select one game each for the project. Which ones are you launching into space and why?
I'll start with Matt on this one.
I mean, Outer Wilds is probably a bit meta, but I go Outer Wilds.
That's a good choice though.
Because that's about launching into new parts of the universe and stories and history and values. So yeah, I'll go for that one.
Right, but then they get it and they can't go onto Wikipedia to complete it. So what's the point?
I'm sure over there that they're so clever they'll be able to get it straight away. If they can't, then they're rubbish.
Right, okay. Well, the Titanfall is my answer. Although you can't play it online. Absolutely useless.
Titanfall 2, you can have a campaign at least. And then they'll be like,
Breath of the Wild.
We're really big on friendship. And
could you imagine if you sent out Breath of the Wild, right? And then aliens found it and went, we need to go here. Holy shit. This is amazing. We need to go here. And then they land in Sutton and go, for what?
It's like, they made it all up. It's not even... not even real.
It's a bunch of liars on this.
I don't know what my answer is. James, if you.
I mean, I was going to cheat and say Civilization 6. I mean, that'll teach them everything they need to know.
That is a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because obviously the temptation is for me to pick something that represents my values, but that doesn't represent humanity at large, does it? Call of Duty. There you go. That's what we're all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it will.
Love about that.
Snapshot.
I mean, the obvious. People might think the obvious answer is Grand Theft Auto, right? But it's not, because it's such. It takes the piss out of everything. And everything's a parody.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really representative of society at all.
Yeah.
But then I can't think of another game that is. This is the
Second Life.
This is the
Oh God, no.
but no, he's got a point. He's got a point.
It's too representative of Earth.
Full of smut and capitalism.
Habbo Hotel.
Or to a T. Saying that. Yeah.
Why have
We've got shit cameras down there,
Peruvian
boys.
man, like, oh yeah.
Blow us up.
I'm being serious about Breath of the Wild though, because that whole exploration aspect and then fight. I mean, it's not physically representative of the world, but that idea of going, it makes you feel childlike, that the world is endless and that you can, you know, it really takes me back to being a kid and just walking around a wood.
Yeah, I really think James's answer is the best one, actually. That's got history, but less story, no values, really.
It has, absolutely has values. It's like, yeah, of course.
Matt, why would you say that? You've never played it, have you?
No, but it's about the history. It's all the civilizations on Earth, isn't it? So I think that makes sense.
What about Typewriter, James?
Yeah,
Would that be a good
one.
one?
Yeah.
God.
They can learn about it. They can learn about all of our
They would last 5 minutes, mate. They go, this is shit. They're robots.
Yeah, I'll only move. What are they? Okay, we're robots.
We're robots.
We're robots.
We're American robots. Episode title: American robots. They go. Go on.
Sarah Louise Bradshaw. Oh, go on, James. Sorry.
I was going to say, is the next one about the world ending as well? Or
No.
because it's we're getting
Sarah
a theme
Louise
here.
Bradshaw says, "What character do you usually choose in Mario Kart and Mario Party?"
Good fucking question.
Obvious answer. I go for the
Go
me
on.
every time.
Oh yeah, of course, but not. And there's no me in Mario Party, so you've shown yourself up there.
Nah, I think I'm a Mario Kart. Cut off point. Cut off point.
See, if it's Mario Kart and it was Mario Kart 8, I usually go for the villager from Animal Crossing. But for Mario Party, I'm really
Course,
boring
you
it off
pervert.
and just go for like Mario or Wario if I'm depending what I'm feeling like. Yeah.
Feeling saucy.
Yeah.
So usually Yoshi, but then in Mario Kart 8, I've switched to Shy Guy for some reason at some point. I don't know who I'm going to be in new Mario Kart though. I feel like it's a whole new world. There's all sorts of opportunities. I don't even know who all the characters are.
It's all up for grabs.
Yeah.
Cow or the me.
Cow on the me.
I'm always Luigi, and I don't really know why, because I don't really love Luigi as a character. I think Luigi's all right. Don't get me wrong. Like, Luigi's great in.
Wasn't it because
Go on.
Harry always wanted to be Mario, and then you ended
Probably.
up...
I think that's how that ended up in Mario Kart. Yeah, so I just went. But even then, I could have picked anyone else. Like Yoshi's probably my favourite character in that world. I just love the look and the sounds, and I just love Yoshi. Or Yoshi. Or I said Yoshi first for some reason. I never called him Yoshi.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, Yoshi. You know,
think less of
Boy, Yoshi.
yeah, I do love Yoshi, but I hate the people that confidently go for one of the Bowser. Like, oh, I'm Lemmy. Okay. All right, you're different. Well done. Yeah, I'm Lemmy. Lemmy, sorry, not Lemmy.
I was like, what?
Let me from Motorhead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Lemmy.
I'm
Okay.
Lemmy.
All right.
Adam says, "Hey chaps, listening to you all talk about Game Pass and PS Plus this week reminded me how frustrating it is that on console we need to pay a subscription fee to play online. How are we still putting up with this after all these years? As a PS5 and Switch owner, I don't play many multiplayer games, mainly Warzone, which as it's free to play, doesn't require PS Plus. I recently got back into Helldivers 2, and you can't even load the game, not even to play solo, without PS Plus. What's even more frustrating is that the same Sony-owned game on PC has none of these restrictions. At what point do we riot? Do you all subscribe to all 3 online services for the consoles you own, or do you choose one? As always, love the show. Please never stop.
I'm subscribed to 2, and then James has put me on his family for the Switch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nintendo, if you're listening.
That'll be all right.
Which you're right. It is bollocks, isn't it? It's bollocks.
It is. It does.
I mean, they have to pay for the service
help.
somehow.
It
but
definitely
it does
helps
feel a bit
with like cheaters and stuff, right? Because wasn't PSN when it first launched with the PS3, wasn't it like absolutely fucking lawless? Because you could just get banned and then make another account in minutes and carry on. Like, it didn't matter.
Like I remember when Sony first launched PS Plus or PSN, like playing online on the PlayStation, its big thing was, well, this is free, and Microsoft Xbox Live, they charge you for that, and it was like £40 a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, which now feels like a bargain.
Yeah.
But it was
And I remember
dreadful on
thinking-
PSN though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. But it was really funny because all the media outlets were like, well, Microsoft they're going to have to go free now because they're not going to be able to compete with this. And, it took just one generation to end before Sony went, right, we're charging you.
Yeah.
So it must be a reason for it. I think it is overly... How much is, like, just game... So is it, I can't even remember
That's a
which
dumb
Game
question. Like
Pass
Game
tier
Pass
that
Core.
you need.
Game Pass Core.
Game Pass Core's is the lowest level one, I think.
Right,
Which is,
and
is
how
it like
much
a
is that
tenner
a month at this point?
Is it like
That's
a tenner or something?
not, is it? That's no, it's
can't
not. It's
remember.
not. It's £40 for 12 months on CD
okay.
keys.
Okay.
That's not
James
too bad.
James'
at all, really, is it?
anti-Microsoft agenda came out
Yeah,
again.
there
Then.
you
So
go.
So £50 for the year. That's not bad, I think that's not too bad. That considering.
if you don't care about Game Pass, then yeah, that's
Well, no, you still
Standard.
get Game Pass Core. Like it just
No,
means you
but
don't
it's-
get like.
Is it worth having?
You only get it's only like a selection of games.
Minesweeper and something else.
Yeah.
Solitaire. What else? Do you...
Hey,
Space Cadet
maybe
Pinball. I
that's all
think
you
that's on
need.
there.
Maybe that's all you need. I don't know. Look, I don't know where I sit with all this. I'm so used to paying for it because I've since Xbox Live started, I've been paying for that service. But when you do lay it out like that, it does seem ridiculous that we're paying just to play the machines online. It's nuts. It is the same with Nintendo, right? Like you do need Nintendo Online to
Yeah, you
pay.
do.
You need to pay for that to
Play online, yeah. For some
Yeah.
things, not for everything though.
No,
It's,
because Charlie can play Fortnite online.
Yeah, the free-to-play
without
ones. I think
needing-
that's
the
away from
free-to-play
it,
ones.
But also, but you're not okay. I know this is obviously part of the reason they do this, but you're not just paying here for the online play, are you? Like for any of these services. now.
Yes, they've all got extra benefits now.
You're paying because you're getting games and stuff like that. That's the other reason why people go for it.
That's true.
I would love to know because I remember part of the pitch with Xbox Live when it first launched was like, yeah, we're taking money off the consumer, but a lot of that went on to subsidise server costs for games, so they would help developers with the costs of running servers. Apart from EA, who were like, nope, we're running our own shit, and that's why EA Games had all the other terms of service and stuff, and they were a pain in the arse because they wanted to collect loads of information about the players, but
And they weren't on Xbox Live, were they? For quite
That's
like
right,
the start for quite a long time.
yeah. So yeah, I wonder if that's still a thing. I don't know, or whether all the platforms do it, or none of them, or what. I don't know how that works anymore.
Looking at the website, by the way, this is so bizarre.
The
It's
website?
So the Microsoft website, the Xbox
Internet.com,
website.
no.
My favourite website.
How Game Pass? Oh, I see that. So they've got a grid here, and I was totally confused because it looked like Xbox Live Gold was still a thing. But it's not. It's just saying it's the same value for Game Pass Core, but this time you've got it changes from that 2 games a month thing that they used to do.
Yeah, it was
to,
games with
which was
gold that they had. Yeah.
dreadful for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The games
really
they were giving away.
ran out of ideas for that, didn't they?
And now it's over 25 high quality console games now you're getting. So I don't know. Look,
Does high quality have an asterisk next to it?
yeah.
Define high quality. Loco cycle? Well, okay.
Okay.
I mean, on this, I obviously have an Xbox, and I had the Switch. I only got expansion pack recently because I thought it might help me with my Switch 2 pre-order. That was a waste, but that's still like way cheaper per year. It's like
Yes, it is way
40
cheaper.
quid a year or 60 quid. It's like hardly anything really. And NLD uses it, that's fine. And PS Plus I didn't because I don't really play online with that. But when me and James were playing
Yeah. I forgot about
Split Fiction, I was like, I kept thinking, and I've got by another month. I've run out. And then on the finale, I think it was maybe the week before finale, we started the stream. I was like, oh god, I need to sign up. I was like, okay, 1 month essential done. You can charge 60 quid. I was like, I bought a fucking year's worth of essential, which I'll not get any money's worth. 'Cause I mean, essential. I don't think you even get any free games, do you? I think it's like premium or.
There are some. Yeah, there's some. I think it's a bit like Core, like where you get like a small catalogue of stuff, and then that's it.
So annoyingly, I am paying for all 3 right now. But yeah,
Never mind.
still gonna write.
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS, condition then rinse. My neighbour loudly replayed the fire chanting level of Tetris Effects until 4 in the morning. While I enjoy the game's music, while I enjoy the game's music, it became somewhat tiresome to try to synchronise my dreams to that percussive soundtrack. When has your gaming become a nuisance for those around you? Keep up the unbelievable work. Sincerely, Maria."
I'll tell you what, this happened to me with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, where
Same.
I was playing it on the portal in bed, and I was doing the what's it called, the blacksmithing,
Yeah.
and it was like vibrating like really like badly, and every time I did that, Chen was just like, "Can you please? I'm trying to sleep. Can you just?"
That reminded me actually. That reminded me to a T. Did anyone else have to turn the vibration off on that?
Yes.
Because it was sending my pad into overdrive.
Yeah, it felt like it was going
I
to
thought bits were going to fall off.
I didn't know, but it wasn't as bad as Return to the Savage Planet. We didn't mention
yeah,
that.
that was
I was like, I could hear that down the mic from your controller. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Ridiculous.
The ones that stick out for me, Joe complained again about the blacksmithing in Kingdom Come because she was like, "What are you doing?" There was also the whistling in Pikmin 3 on the Wii U. Was it Pikmin 3 on Wii U?
Yeah.
Just the constant. Joe was like, "You've got to stop playing this because it's fucking driving me nuts." And then also any of the music from Lumines that I play on the Switch, and I play a lot of Lumines. And there's that one that goes dang 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 woo, dang 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 woo, oh yeah, dang 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 dang. And Joe's like, I can't even imagine what's on the screen at the moment. Like, it's that irritating what's going on. So yeah, she's always struggled with that one.
When I was a young man, I was a teenager, I saved up my pennies and bought some of those rubbish home dance mats for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I won them for uni. They were great fun.
Yeah. And then, parents were away for a week, I think. So I invited some friends round.
You drew moustaches on all the paintings.
Yeah. So we were playing on the dance mats, and then after about half an hour, my next door neighbour came round, banging on the door and kicking off at me because apparently we were making the building shake so much that like some of her paintings had fallen off the walls.
Wow,
Jesus!
I'll say pictures, right, not paintings. But, so she was not happy, and obviously I wasn't even mildly prepared to explain to her what we were doing because that wouldn't help. So I can't remember what I actually said.
I guess at 13, you're like, I was kissing a girl, so actually,
having sex.
Chill out, maybe. Not 13, Sean, you dirty beggar.
I was, it would have been 16, 17 at this point.
Okay, good point. Not 16, you dirty beggar.
So I'm pretty sure I just said sorry and then we stopped.
It's
Are you
funny
telling me a
when
16-year-old Sean wouldn't have just, flicked the V's and said, up yours? Doing what I want in my house, which is playing Dance Revolution.
No, we were on the Dancing Stage Megamix Disney edition.
Oh, okay. No wonder you
That was
didn't
the
mention
only one they had in the shop when I bought the mats. I was like, well, I can't not buy a game. And it had It's a Small World brackets ducking hardcore mix, which is incredibly good.
It is funny when you're at that age and you're so unaware of how much you're affecting other people's lives around you, like where you live. It's not, and then it suddenly hits you and you're like, fucking hell, I hope they don't hear me. I don't, if I go outside, I've got to keep my voice down a little bit because, it's all that stuff.
Yeah. No, I remember walking home
yeah.
from work when I was working in ZZ's. I was walking home at like 1 a.m. I was on the phone to a friend, having what I thought was a very quiet conversation, and got in the house and Mum was like wide awake, and she's like, "Yeah, I heard you coming down the road. I heard your entire half of the conversation." It's like, oh no,
you've heard about me and all the dance Disney songs.
Because you just you don't give a shit, do you, at that age?
No, you do
Unfortunately.
not.
I'm dreading Isaac being a teenager. James, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's the teenage years not fun so far.
Yeah, cool.
It's
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Moving on. Eskil Wendell says, "Dear TCGS, I just found out that I submitted the wrong document for my exam, which got me a failing grade.
You idiot, Eskil.
File names were different by 1 character. I have an oral exam in 6 days and 75 minutes at time of writing, and I would love some encouragement to listen back to when it's done. Have you ever really fucked up at school? Miserable and despondent, love, Eskil." I
fucked up at school.
In my final year of my degree, I found out. So basically, in the final year, I thought you either did a dissertation or a final year project. And turned out I was going to do both.
What fun did you find out?
I was so checked out of the whole thing that, I just did not submit one entire massive piece of coursework. Thank God they said, like, look, you can just do it over summer and then submit it.
That's nice of them.
It was very nice.
At that point, you're like, I'm still not doing it.
They should have fucking kicked me out because what an absolute joke. But yeah, that was a bad feeling finding that out. A phone call from a tutor being like, "Yeah, where's you haven't submitted your dissertation?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, "No, you submitted your final year coursework. Where's you supposed to be a dissertation?" Yeah, fucking horrible.
Yeah, that's nightmare scenario, isn't it? There was some of the work
my
recently.
own fault, to be absolutely.
There was some of the work recently that was just about to do their presentation at the end of their course, and their hard drive died. It was like all of their work gone the morning of
Did it though?
Yeah, Matt's got
Well, I mean,
Oh no, the hard drive's broken.
that's what I was saying, and they just looked at me in a very stern way, as if to say, "Do not joke about this, David. I'm living a nightmare at the moment." So I sort of backed off. I can't really think of anything that I got completely wrong like that, fucked up at school. I think there was I remember there was this one thing where we had to make a children's book. This was for media, and I really put the effort in, and I handed it in, and the teacher went, "This is what you submit in this," and I went, "Well, what's wrong with it? It's not good enough. I really think about doing it again." So out of spite, I made a really shit one and handed that in instead. But that was stupid because they went, "Okay, well, you're just going to get a really bad mark then. You're not showing." What are you trying to do here?
Over, not
exactly, it was one of those. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck you." Then.
Yeah, I showed you.
Appreciate what I've done.
Yeah, screw the system.
I got what? I got a what? I failed a what? But other than that, I was a pretty good boy. I was a good boy.
I was a good. I never had one detention at school. I was a goody two shoes.
Really?
Yeah, not one detention. I didn't skip class at all until I got to college when I was like the bad boy college baby. No, but at school.
Was that
where
the man of the night started? Was it?
In a way.
Man of period.
Man of lunchtime, baby. Yeah, no, I love school. I did get
I
a
didn't
bit
love
bullied in
school.
year 11, so I wasn't a fan year 11. But yeah, I
that's
didn't
fine.
skip anything, never got attention. Even in some ways, it's a bit boring, really. But
Right, fucking boffin.
the most I got in trouble was in year 6 when I found a box of matches and I did a genie.
Oh, I've heard this story.
And then I was ordered straight to Mr. Fitzgerald, and his eyes lit up like I'd killed a man or boy. And that's the most I got in trouble, but still no detention.
There was one, I didn't really get in trouble for it, but I know I really disappointed one of my favourite teachers. Like, genuinely, the thing that like, really let her down was...
You
so
killed
one
the
of
school
our-
hamster.
Killed a guy. Just
A
shot him.
guy as well.
So one of our teachers was in the papers because basically there was a story came out about her having a relationship with a sixth former, right? And as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, that was just all bullshit, wasn't it? Like, he just fucking made it up. But obviously it ruined her career. She had to leave the school and everything.
Well,
But
life,
obviously,
I imagine.
At the time, when we were 14, we thought it was funny, didn't we? So we were like joking about it, and then my form tutor like heard us, and I can't remember the exact words she used, but basically she was just like, "Yeah, she was a friend of mine. Can you not?"
Mm.
I remember being
Oh,
like,
wow.
remember being like, "Oh, what's her problem?" And then in hindsight, unraveling it and being like, "Oh yeah, the kid made everything up, ruined that woman's life." And it was So, and then
And
my
people
form
were
tutor had
joking
to
about
listen
the
to it.
school, yeah.
That's crazy, yeah.
Fuck, yeah, no, that's bad.
It really brought the mood down there, Sean.
Yeah, sorry. Ash the Tash says,
Thank God Asher Tash going to bring things back.
having just
Oh, no,
bought a
shit,
new
it's about-
car with all the modern touches and being genuinely blown away, particularly when compared to my previous banger, I'm interested to know what is the biggest non-gaming tech upgrade you've purchased that brought you all out of the dark ages?
Oh, that is a fucking good question.
It's
Oh,
a good
dishwasher.
question.
100%. But we're not going into that again because that's like fucking 8 shows worth of feedback.
I don't know. Fuck.
If it's difficult to think of something that's like non-gaming related because pretty much everything is.
Well,
like
like
that.
nice new TV gaming related. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
But then even then, I don't know when I got a TV and was like, I guess the jump to HD was a big one, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Samsung, those ones with the little silver triangle at the bottom. Yeah, well,
they're
all over
HD
those
ready,
bad boys.
Dave. You know.
they were HD ready. Yeah. 720p, but they do the job.
I remember going from tape cassette to mini disc, and that felt like a
Yeah.
massive
Oh,
big
yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
boy.
cool.
We were going on about mini discs and MP3
Yeah.
players the other day in the group chat, weren't we?
That's what made me
First
think of it.
smartphone, you never beat
Yes.
that. That was the
Yeah,
one where you're like, what?
Yeah.
The internet. And I don't have to keep pressing that button to scroll
Yeah, it's
down.
internet, but it's not
anymore.
WAP.
It's not WAP.
You
I
went
just-
on your
I'm sure
GPRS connection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. An
I'm sure I've
ASCII
said this
websites.
before, but I still remember. So I was about to get an iPhone 3G, and a friend of mine already had one. And I was like, just show me something cool you can do on it. And he showed me the Flickster app. And he's like, look, it shows
Oh,
me
yeah,
where
the
all the
Flickster
nearest,
app.
the
Yeah, yeah.
nearest cinemas are. And I can click on them, and it gives me the show times for the film.
Oh, no, I was thinking something else. What was
And
the
that wasn't
news?
enough to sell you, and now you're in Android
Oh,
since then.
So I got the iPhone 3G then, and then later defected to Android.
Because obviously you had the iPint, so you probably like, okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Flickster plus
We've
iPint.
mentioned the
great.
iPint more than most games.
It's giving my 4 games this year, I think.
You recommend us a fart app, Matt?
Oh, there are so many to recommend, James.
What were the early iPhone games that everyone got into? So yeah,
Rolando.
Rolando, I fucking love Rolando.
Which was a bit of a
Rolando.
rip-off of Loco Roco, hence.
Yeah, it was.
Angry Birds,
Angry Birds was quite early on, wasn't
There
it?
was one.
Disc
that
Driving.
There's one that absolutely kills me. I don't think you can get it anyway now. It's called Helsing's Fire. Did any of you play this?
No.
No.
It was this sick puzzle game where basically there was a screen with like pillars and then monsters dotted around, and you would drag the Helsing around, and you had this like lantern that exploded, right? And the whole point is you were finding spots where when it exploded it would hit all of the monsters without the pillars blocking it, and it was fucking great.
You can get it on the you can get it on iPhone still.
Can you? shit.
Helsing's Fire, yeah.
You can still find them.
I'll have to
You can
buy
still
an
Helsing
iPhone.
Fire
Do you
them.
remember, I remember like because there was like Trism. Do you remember that? There was like a
Well, that rings a
puzzle
bell,
game. There was so many like of that from that like early generation. Of,
What
like,
about
stuff
Super
that came out.
Hexagon?
Yeah.
Which we should say, I feel terrible about this. The developer of Super Hexagon, Terry Kavanagh,
Oh, yeah. Reached out to us.
reached out to us a few months ago, and because it was done on the feedback form, we didn't reply. But we forgot to mention it on the show to specifically say that we were absolutely buzzing with that. We are terrible at that. We are like, that is really
Well,
on us.
it was
That is
a
bad.
really sweet message as well, because not to
Yeah.
big myself up or anything, because it's because he released Terry's Other Games, which was a collection of like stuff, like web stuff he'd done and what have you. And and he got in touch because he was like, oh yeah, Sean wrote a review of one of them years ago, and he was like, I think I wrote for fucking Dark Zero, so we're going back like 15, 20 years. And
And he was like, I had to try and find where he was, and then I found this, so I thought I'd message in and get. And we just ignored it, and I feel so. Well, we didn't ignore it. We were buzzing. Terry, if this gets back to you, and if anyone knows Terry Kavanagh and can send them a clip of this, because we were buzzing with that message, by the way, and thank you so much for sending it in. But because we're all fucking idiots. We'd forgotten to mention it on the show, and once something doesn't happen that week, our minds we're terrible with this stuff. Like, you deserve so much more than that, and I really do apologise. But
I think the
Super
other issue is
Hexagon,
that he sent us
hell.
Steam keys for Terry's Other Games, and obviously I'm the only one who plays stuff on Steam. So
Yeah, I haven't got any way to play Steam games, but
Me neither.
but holy
fun
shit! Thanks
bonus-
for getting in touch.
Fun bonus fact about Terry Kavanagh: he helped me defeat the 4 kings in Dark Souls.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he was like, I'm pretty sure this was back in the day when Twitter just felt like a world of possibilities. And he just tweeted like, oh, I'm bored, like, does anyone need any help on Dark Souls? I was like, yeah, I'm fucking stuck on the 4 kings, they're horrible. And and he ended up summoning and he came in and sorted them out.
Nice. All right.
Good lad. What was the question? Did we do Ash? Yeah, we did Ash. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ash the Tash was tech upgrades. Rascal Fist. Question: you've all been assigned a mission to take each other out, as in moida, not romantically, to be clear. You obviously know each other well. I suspect you'll know each other's habits, routines, desires. James and Cheese. How will you do it so that you get away with it? P.S. If you do want to take each other out romantically, I'll accept that as accept an answer for that too. Man of the night.
Just a massive mouse trap with a big lump of cheese on it. James Farley coming along.
I can imagine it like snapping and it doesn't kill him, but you just find him just lying in it. And you just you're
complaining
dead.
about his back.
And he'd just be like, no, I'm not dead. I just fucking...
No, but he won't do that, Sean. His mouth will be moving. We're like, you're on mute, James.
I'm going for Matt. I'm going for exploding skateboard. I think it'd be great.
We know he can survive a skateboard mishap.
Okay.
That's true.
You dick dastardly, James. This is a real sort of...
Okay.
Ensure an exploding headphones.
David exploding.
I'll wait till
Millwall.
we do the park run in September, and I'll carry those little caltrops things, the little spikes you drop on the floor. I'll run just ahead of Matt.
Or some oil
The
slick.
problem with that plan is I will never be ahead of Matt. But
I'm rubbish, Sean. What do you think about that?
Oh, I've got one. Murdering James without it coming back on me. Make sure Chen's not about for a week. I reckon James is gone within a couple of days. He's got to do everything himself. Fuck that.
That is
It's not getting
outrageous.
done.
That is absolutely outrageous.
Starvation and exposure.
Utter bastard.
Am I right or wrong, though?
No, I think you
wrong.
got that, yeah.
Completely wrong, you say, with a sort of slightly scared at the concept on your face look.
Yeah, I could book a travel ticket wherever I want, in a way.
I did. I booked one today actually.
And
If you're
pay
at home
over the
cooking a
odds
meal
for
on your meal for yourself, what are you cooking, James?
cheese on toast.
About that. I mean, no, because I've got to think about what I can get here.
Pot noodle.
Yeah, pots. No, it's beans on toast. Full English breakfast.
Mixed grill.
Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. It's from Jesus H. Christ. The H
Oh
stands for
my-
Hamish.
Oh, okay.
The 10-year anniversary party. If you were to Kickstarter it, What would the party be like with £1,000 raised,
Oh,
£10,000 raised, and £100,000 raised? Personally, I would like a plane ticket to Germany to dance around the Alarmo clock at James's house for top tier supporters. Also, who is assigned to cake, music, venue, and entertainment? Big love,
Okay.
Jesus.
right.
So this is a
cake-
TCGS 10-year birthday party.
Anniversary, yeah.
If we raised a
I would
grand,
say-
so we'll raise a grand, and that would have to pay for everything. Yeah, I mean,
If it's grand, it's what, village hall, DJ.
No, it'd be in a pub.
yeah,
Just
I was
put
gonna
money
say
behind
pub,
the bar.
food, yeah,
Pub,
behind the
money
bar,
behind
yeah.
the bar. 10,000.
10 grand.
We could do with 10 grand.
I mean, we could
10
do that,
pubs.
but yeah, 10 pints, 10 crisp.
I have thought about you know we've like struggled to sort out a venue for TCGS Con London.
Well,
Yeah.
only because we
I'm
have
like,
to do it this time ourselves and not
I
rely on John.
I
from
really
Laser
want to do
Quest.
I
that.
keep thinking like, wouldn't it
Maybe I
be
will.
funny if we did like a tour of like pubs?
Well, like a pub crawl, like Camden, the Camden.
No, you mean different
it'd be
cities?
like different dates, like 10 dates, and it would just be like pub, like upper floor at a pub.
You're
somewhere.
talking about going on
For like
tour,
10
Sean.
people.
No, okay, right. So
100%,
I know
that's what
this
I'm
is
talking
mad, but yeah, if we did 10, like if we did pick different parts of the country, there's sure got to be a listener who could bring like 3 mates, or 2 listeners who bring like 6
That's what I
mates.
mean. Like, it wouldn't-
I
it wouldn't,
reckon
like,
we.
everyone. It
we
wouldn't
might-
matter if only like 10 people showed up. It would just be.
It might.
Fucking
It
would,
might
because
work.
it would be economically
It'd
stupid.
be ruinous.
We've raised 10 grand.
That's the point. Yeah,
We've
that's
raised
the-
100
we've got 10
grand, David. It'd be
it's fine.
fine.
We've got the next one we're doing is definitely the football thing, where we sponsor a match ball for a day, and then get as many listeners to the football match as possible, and then just have a party afterwards. That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
move. I think
I
that's
really
the
want to
next
sort
TCGS.
find a venue for TCGS Con now. I want to do another live show. I've missed it.
It's been too long.
Yeah,
I think I'll.
And the
Same there.
longer we leave
I'll
it,
try
the more
again.
anticipation there'll be, and the more people will expect from it. So we need to get
or the more people drop off.
Yeah,
Sure,
fewer.
which is also
Yeah, because our audience is
possibility.
aging, Sean. So got to think about that.
100 grand with
100
hiring the den. Not there's no.
How much would it cost?
No
That's like
way less than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What do you have at 900?
The 10,000 tier, we could probably do that, yeah?
Fine. You say that like it's a diss. The idea of renting the den to me is the most exciting.
Okay,
thing
right. So
ever.
if we raised
Doesn't
100
bother me.
grand, which we're not going to do, if we rented a den, what would we do there?
Football match. We'd have a football match. We'd have.
Okay,
We'd get
no
11
live show.
aside.
I'll just
Yeah,
sit around
I've
and
already
chat
thought
with
about this. I'd ask Ian Lee to be the manager of my football team. Matt, Sean or James will be on my team. Matt will pick Sean or James, and we'll do Matt versus David. You've got to pick a manager. We've got to
Yes.
find our own players.
Would you do
I'd love
like soccer
that.
rebels, like England versus the rest of the world style?
No,
would it not?
because we're not
Okay.
that big. I think we'll be lucky to get 22 players, to be honest with you. But
Okay, I'm going to go for. I'm going to choose. Should we choose a team now?
I've already thought about it. I would contact the Maverick Studio guys because they play in that match. Don't they? The I can't remember what it's for. Is it for
charity
EA? I can't remember. The charity match that they play in there. That
Yeah,
24
special
hour
effects.
one.
Yeah.
Yes, for special effects.
I'm going to sign Blake up. So you haven't
Okay,
said Blake.
fine.
So
I've played Blake football. I've played football with Blake all my life. He's rubbish.
but he scored a penalty at the highest level of the game, AK soccer
which
raid.
made that the most insane thing
So
ever.
I'm going for Blake. Who's going to manage? So Ian's the manager of your team, so I'm going to find a manager of my team. Okay, that's good. Okay,
Go on, who would
we
be the
should do
manager
this.
of your team?
Who would the manager of my team? Probably Pep Guardiola,
Yeah, it's free.
if we're choosing.
Okay. Ange Postecoglou, because let's face it, no! You're looking for a job by the end of this week.
It has won silverware, so more than Pep this year, in a way.
Be believed.
Not in a way, in the way.
I'd get the Crystal Palace manager in, but it'll just say cheat, just cheat. If you're the keeper, just run out and catch it.
I think that's fair. I've always actually do it. So you're the underdog, so fuck you. Who
quick
did this
one.
last bit?
Matt, did you hear today that Palace might get kicked out of Europe?
Yeah, I've heard that. It's
Oh,
great news.
because of the ownership thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be just our luck, wouldn't it? Yeah, but basically, our American owners also own like shares in other clubs, and just like with, I think it's like a Forest had the same issue because the same. Oh, don't let's move on. Who's assigned to
music, venue
cake?
and entertainment.
Yeah, cake. I'm going to say Sean. You know,
Yeah, I'll do a
like
cake.
Bell's Kitchen
Right, okay,
link.
so Sean's doing
Live stream
cake.
I think David
Matt,
music.
you do. No, I say Matt, you do music.
Well, you got loads of gigs,
Matt's
more
in
gigs
touch
than I
with the
do.
youth, though.
Okay.
Dave goes to more new
That's
gigs,
true.
new bands than I do. So.
Okay, all right, I'll go music. Then, what do you want to do, Matt? Entertainment.
Yeah, it's more fun. Isn't it?
James is the entertainment.
Well, no, I'm not talking about James. What's Chen going to do in this?
Yeah.
Let's
She,
try.
Yeah,
she
get
can
Chen on
book
the
the,
venue,
she
yeah.
can book the venue and sort all that out.
Oh, can
There
they?
you go.
Sweet,
Good
thanks,
of you
Chen.
to let us know what she can.
Let's get to socials, Matt.
Trend the venue, please.
Let's wrap this one up.
We are doing so much this week. It's a huge week. Switch 2 is out on Thursday. Summer Game Fest starts on Friday. So the plan, as it stands, is that Sean and I, for old time's sake, just to feel something, we're going to some midnight launches. And then we're going to come back from those.
Can you
those
live stream those
Well-
on your phone?
I thought about it.
they're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm just some
got-
So, yeah,
dickhead
get-
with a
I just
phone.
don't want to
get
be
Periscope
that guy,
up.
though.
You know.
No, I know you don't want to be that guy, but
might
you can,
vlog
like,
it.
You don't have to be like this all the time. You can sort of like
Holding your phone out for audio
hold your
listeners.
phone down, like just watching what it's like, and then quickly showing people what's going on.
Cut
You
a
know?
hole in a bag and
If
just
anyone
slot
says
the phone in.
anything,
Yeah,
Sean, if anyone says anything, just say it's a prank. I'm doing a prank.
it's a prank, bro.
So it's- yeah.
I mean, by the way, we should say, like, if is it safe to say which branches we're going to, Matt? And
No?
no, all right. I was just going to
No,
say, if any
because
listeners
loads
are
of people
about,
are gonna
please
turn
do.
up.
If you recognise us, please do say hi, because that would be funny as hell.
Very unlikely, but yeah. No, I might vlog it. I might get like a full like gorilla grip and say, "Hey guys, I'm out with the boys getting a Switch. You on your own?
I've
Yeah, I'm on
still
my own.
got
Yeah.
IRL Pro. Oh, yeah, I've got IRL Pro set up on my phone, so I can just go live from my phone if I want.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And yeah, so
Okay.
the plan is Sean and me will be back, and then the plans we're going to do a live. Sean,
Actually, Sean and me was correct. Sorry.
No,
No, it wasn't. What I'm talking about.
oh,
Thank you.
okay.
it
Well,
was definitely-
okay.
yeah, Sean and I.
Me and Sean, I and Sean
He and me.
will be live on Twitch from 1:45 on Thursday. Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Yeah.
With our Switch 2 unboxing. And then after that, from Friday, it's Summer Game Fest. So the plan is from 10 to 10 on Friday night, Summer Game Fest talks over, followed by Day of the Devs and Devolver Direct. And Sunday night from 10 to 6, we're going to talk over the Xbox show. And if we've got the energy and the gumption, we're going to do PC Gaming Show straight after that. So really, it's Wednesday night / Thursday morning for Switch, Friday night for all the other stuff, and then Sunday for Xbox. There'll be socials, but just go to tcgs.co for links to our Blue Sky and all that, and it'll all be on there in terms of schedule. We're on twitch.tv/tcgsco, streams on YouTube, search for TCGS on YouTube, and as I said, tcgs.co is where everything else lives. But yeah, lots of streams this week, lots of fun, hopefully we'll Switch 2, and we're excited for it.
but that's it for the podcast for a week. We will catch you next week with some more video game chit
With our
chat.
Switch 2 impressions.
Thank you. Yes, with our Switch 2 impressions.
Welcome
Thank you
tour.
so much for living it. We'll catch you later. Goodbye, everybody.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.